Hey everybody, welcome to Schizophrenia Cast, and we're reviewing Scream, the greatest movie that came out ever.
According to every IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes review, this is the
Oh
greatest
God,
movie ever. Apparently, that came out this
really?
year.
They're already shilling for it.
It's
Better than Citizen Kane, better than what is it called? Better than any social commentary movie that you've seen. What is it called? Better than Fight Club. Better than
oh, that one hurt.
encapsulating the encapsulating the time. Definitely will be remembered in a couple of years.
Oh yeah, and
It's
definitely
like
no dated references in there. Definitely not. That will be
none.
dated.
It's like a person. It's got the dude who wrote it, directed it, or whatever has his finger on the pulse. It's like the great dictator of our time. It's just, it's so good.
It's okay.
I
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. I don't want to step on the
yeah, that's
bit.
pretty much it. No, that's pretty much it. That's
Oh,
all. That's all I got.
okay. All
Um,
jokes aside, this movie is getting reviewed way better than it should be. You know what I mean?
I think so. I mean,
It's so
well,
crazy.
depending on what you're by what you're telling me, it sounds like it's getting glowing reviews.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can check the things right now on IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes. I'll let you get a chance to do that if you can, please.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll do it right now.
but yeah, yeah, it's so strange. I don't know what's going on.
I I mean, I didn't think the movie was that great to be getting like any good reviews. I thought it would be like people saying like this is like a shell of its former self, which
Yeah.
given I'll put a disclaimer out there. I don't a fan of the Scream series. I saw number 3
Mm-hmm.
in theaters when it first came out. I've heard of number 2. I think I watched number 1 when I was a kid, and we watched the Scary Movie movies. So that's like our biggest. Well, I mean, that's for me. That's my biggest introduction into the Scream movies. So IMDb rated this 7.2 out of 10. Um, its popularity
Mm-hmm.
is like number 2, I think, out of the whole website under Eternals. So okay,
Really? Wait,
there's
wait a minute.
your
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What?
most popular movies. I don't know like if this is a list of the last month or something like that, but
might
um
that might be. That honestly might be.
Eternals was number 1. It says no change. Probably from the last time it was updated.
Eternals?
Yeah, Eternals is number 1, number 2 is Scream, number 3 is Spider-Man No Way Home. Um Number 5 is I'm sorry, number 4 is Don't Look Up, and number 5 is Encanto. Sing 2 is underneath number oh well it went down like 9 3 percentage points, so it used to be number 4.
Best.
But
This is best reviewed.
this is most popular.
Most
The most
popular.
popular.
Oh, uh,
So people are watching it.
people are watching it. Yeah. Besides,
Best reviewed, but
I don't know what best reviewed means anyway. I mean, I don't know what most popular means anyway in terms of how good it was, how many people saw it, or how
well,
many
it
buys
has
at
the
the box
IMDb
office. You know.
through it has the IMDb ratings right next to the popularity score. So Eternals got a 6.5, Scream got a 7.2, Spider-Man No Way Home got an 8.7. Don't Look Up got a 7.3, and Encanto got a 7.3, and Sing 2 got a 7.6. So at least Sing 2 was at least higher above Encanto.
So Scream got a what
Um,
in the reviews?
Scream got a 7.2.
A 7.2. So that's around Eternals.
Eternals got 6.5.
6.5. Okay.
Yeah, so I
Damn.
assume that's out
What?
of 10. Matrix Resurrections. Shout outs to our Matrix Resurrections review
Yeah.
because we're gonna be referencing that in a bit. 5.7.
5.7. Wow. Okay, so they really thought that this was better than The Matrix.
Yeah.
But they thought Eternals was worse than this movie?
Yeah.
That's insane to me.
I think it was
You know what I
just as
mean?
good. I think it was just as good, and
I thought Eternals
if
was
any,
better.
I honestly probably enjoyed because I wasn't. at some points of the movie, I was like, "Oh my god, when is this over?" I wanted to skip through it.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
like
my
I
my
think
the person I was watching it with was just wanted to stop it like every five, like just like, can we not, like, do we have to finish watching? I was like, yes, yes, you're watch it, you're gonna watch it, and you're gonna like it.
uh, well, I had to say that to myself. Like I had to say that to myself for the entire movie. I was just like, "Oh god, I don't give a shit about anything that's going on in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care." Um, like I think we've seen this before like multiple times. Um, yeah, I don't care. And it's funny too because it's like the movie. I don't know if the movie was trying to, or the writers of the movie were trying to do something different, but it's not. It's not different. It's like it's a movie that acts like it's different. Um, it's like acting like it's breaking new ground, or like the things in the movie, like the meta commentary in the movie hasn't been said a million times.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I was just like those parts were probably the most exciting because it's like at least it gives you something to think about or something to be annoyed at. But everything
Yeah.
else was just like boring, um, like uh,
Yeah.
uh, uh I'm sorry, predictable, um, lame, just lame. Uh, yeah, it's like a boomer trying to like connect with a younger audience.
Yeah, it was really bad in that regard. I don't think yeah, it was I don't know. I don't know. It was kind of it was kind of try hard. It was a very try hard movie. You know what I mean? It was trying really really hard to kind of check off all the boxes of of what's cool and what's kind of hip right now. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
I'm trying to capture. It was trying to capture the it was trying to capture the like apathy and the everything is stupid and everything is retarded like mentality that Zoomers have right now. You know?
right.
It
I
re-
mean, I don't know if
yeah.
it's like I don't know if it's like yeah, I guess it's an apathy. It's kind of like a happy apathy. It's not like a depressed
Yeah, yeah.
apathy
It's not a
like I think
depressed
Gen
one.
X.
Definitely not. Hmm.
It's more like there's nothing really to get angry about ever. You should just be happy um generally and not take anything seriously, and
Hmm.
whenever anything bad happens just laugh at it, but it's like I don't know. I don't know if that's any better, but yeah, I think it was probably trying to do that. I mean, I don't think it's any better than the Matrix at all.
I don't think so either.
Uh,
And I think it had the same spirit too, where the director, like the people who made the movie basically were just like they have a disdain for the people that want to go see it.
that was another thing
That was
too.
another thing that was really really prevalent in this movie. We can't really say any specific parts because this is the part that we do for the people that don't want to get spoiled, the little babies that don't want to get anything spoiled.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Um.
they
Mhm.
come on, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, by now, if you don't, I mean, what is it called? We love all of our we like all of our listeners and stuff like that. I think if you're a listener right now, you probably know, but there's no spoiler free reviews. So yeah, get ready for that. But um, yeah, I think the director of this, there's two directors. The first director, Matt Bettinelli Open, he did VHS, Southbound, and Ready or Not. So I
He
think VHS is like
Southbound. That
Southbound
sounds familiar.
is
I think I might have seen that one.
it's an anthology horror movie.
Ah.
Um yeah, and Ready or Not, which I think was like a comedy horror film or something like that. I didn't watch it. I heard about VHS. I don't think it was that good. It was another anthology movie about that was like found footage. type stuff. But
That's what VHS was, I believe.
was he the original director of the Scream movies? I don't remember if like wasn't Wes.
Wes
I think
Craven.
Yeah, was yeah, it was directed by the first film was directed by Wes Craven. Um, and he died in 2015, by the way.
Oh,
So
Wes
he
Craven did.
definitely couldn't
Rest in
direct
peace.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Rest in peace, Wes Craven. Um, and
Morty. So
yeah.
yeah.
So I think I can feel it. What is it called? I think I can feel his absence in this. Um, I
Oh,
don't
I
know.
mean, definitely,
Do,
definitely. You can't. I mean, whoever directed this movie definitely an inferior director in all aspects.
have you watched the old ones recently? Because I like watched a recap in what is it called? In preparation for this one.
Mm-hmm.
And the third one I remember vividly, not being so obvious with what it was trying to say.
Yeah. I mean, none of them were really. But I feel like you don't have to watch two and three to really get this last one. You just kind of have to watch one because it's really basing everything off of one. Even though they reference it, like, oh man, this is like, what is the what's the stand-in movie for Scream in that? Stabbed.
Stab, yeah,
Yeah, Stabbed is what they call the Scream movie in there. And they were like, what were they on? Stabbed 8. So they were making reference to that there was a lot of these, but
yeah.
I believe that 8 was the I mean, I believe that 4 is the latest one, and they only focused on one, on number 1. They didn't make any reference to 2 or 3 at all. So very strange.
Oh, right. Well, I guess it's because it's so convoluted that they're probably not even gonna like, um, get into that. Because I think the Scream movies themselves have been like super convoluted. Um,
And lampooned to death. I mean,
yeah, that too.
Scream 1. Scary Movie 1 is Scream. Is a parody of Scream.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
It's a parody. Yeah. Good.
Um, it's funny too because, um, I think there's a difference. Uh, I think there's a difference between parody and satire.
Mhm.
Um, so I know that one of them is like kind of like over the top, funny, like with gags and stuff like that, and the other one is more subtle.
Mhm.
So it's just kind of it's funny because like the scary movies are like parody of the movie that is supposed to be like a subtle satire of scary movies in general.
Yeah.
Um, and so it's just funny that there. I don't remember in the scary movies. Do they also bring up the tropes and stuff like that
Yeah,
in the
definitely.
movies?
Yeah, they say
Yeah,
they parody the in a horror movie you have to do this to survive. You know, they do that.
yeah. So it's like I guess you can take it over the top and make it like super ridiculous. And I felt like this one seemed more like a parody of the Scream movies than like the
Mhm.
other ones were. Um, like I kind of felt like I was like, are they being this obvious because it's like because they're they just don't give a shit anymore, or is it like I don't know? It's just so strange. Like who talks like this in the movies? Like I
Yeah.
understand that it's like I understand that it's supposed to be meta commentary and stuff like that, but it's like I don't think I've ever had a conversation with somebody like this where they're like talking about all these tropes and
Mhm.
stuff like that so quickly
Okay.
and like I mean sometimes we have like a big like explanation or something with one another
Mhm.
when we're talking, but I just it just takes you right out of the movie.
Yeah,
Um
when you're over explaining everything and you have to stop the whole movie to when you have to stop the whole movie just to explain that this is happening or this happened 20 years ago or this person was the cause of this thing. You
And
know what I mean?
isn't
Like
it like
either
kind?
assume the people that you're watching know what you're talking about, or sprinkle it in the story. Because they really I was telling the person I was watching it with that I'm like, wow, they really are just really trying to get everything out of the way in this first 30 minutes, because they do like this big reveal that should have been at the maybe in the middle or the end of the movie. They do it in the first 30 minutes of the movie, and I'm like, wow, why would they say that now? That could have been such a dramatic moment later on, because it would have been the mystery of why Ghostface specifically trying to go after this girl. You know what I mean? And
Oh,
they didn't do it. I won't say what it is, but yeah, it's like something that should have been way later in the movie, and they explained the story. They did the big reveal. They did the big oh gasp moment and everything in the first 30 minutes, and then they were like, okay, time to I guess, and then they were like, well, now it's time to kill people, but then they didn't really kill anyone. You know what I mean?
right.
Um, they killed a couple of people, but who cares? You know, it wasn't dramatic or anything. And they really downplayed the murders. You know what I mean? I felt like
Right.
they were focusing more on the how gruesome the kill could be instead of how impactful the kill could be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So instead of, let's say in scary movie one, whoops, in Scream one, uh, scene where she's getting murdered in the locker room, you know, where she's like, "Oh, this is you," blah blah blah, and then she gets stabbed, and she's like, "Oh no, it's not you!" And then she's running away, and there's a lot of like, "Oh no, is she gonna get away? Is something gonna come out and save her?" Like you get there's a lot of drama in it. This one is just like boop, you're dead, and then move on.
Right.
There's like no, I don't know. There's no impact in the kills, which you want in a slasher movie, because there's the reason people go see slasher movies is to see people get killed.
Well, I mean, every kill in this movie like kind of was a means to an end, I guess, like to throw you off of like who's the killer, even though it never really did. Called who the killer was like halfway through the movie.
Yeah,
Um, or like yeah, so it's like it, it's just kind of funny because the characters are uh, you don't feel the deaths of the characters throughout the movie.
mm-hmm.
Um, you kind of forget who they are. You could literally not you could name everybody um by their by what they look like and you'd be fine.
Yeah, which they
Um,
reference at the beginning too, which is kind of funny.
oh really? Do they?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. There's a little joke in there at the beginning.
Oh, okay then. That makes sense because it's funny too because this one specifically is falling into that like falling into what is it called? Falling into that like trope or whatever, but it's like I don't know if that's makes it. I had the same problem in the Matrix movie. It's like it doesn't make it any better for you pointing it out. It's still an issue.
Exactly. Well, it takes the tongue in cheek, um, the tongue in cheek ness of you knowing what how horror movies are and what the tropes of horror movies are, and trying to like wink and nod at you in the movie that like, oh, we know too, like we know, they take that from the original, and in this one they turn it into like know it, like kind of like a snooty know it allism. You know what I mean?
Right.
They
Mhm.
they turn it into like a like I said, like that weird happy apathy that we're talking about, where it where you know it all, so it's stupid, instead of you know it all, like that wink and point where it's just like, hey, I know what you know. Instead of
Well,
doing that, they just turn it into, hey, we all know this is gonna happen. This is retarded. You know what I mean?
right.
Yeah.
Well, it's to me, it's like me. That's kind of like uh, disheartening because it's like, okay, we're gonna regurgitate the same crap to you, and we know that you know that it's the same crap, but we're gonna we're gonna force it down your throat anyway. And if you complain about it, what's it called? We'll just say in the movie that we know and don't care.
Yeah.
So that's even like I don't know if that's like a more sinister way of looking at it, where it's like, yeah, you've seen all of this before. We know that you've seen all of this before. We don't care, and we're not gonna try anything different.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
I
That
mean, they never
true.
said
Yeah.
anything like that, but it's just kind of like I don't know. I feel like it's insinuating it. Just I mean the what is it called? What's the word? They said this in Always Sunny in Philadelphia when they were on the boat. Um, the inferment or something or the insinuation.
Mhm.
They're not saying that, but it's always there. It's always lingering in the back. I mean, well, I mean, I'm just thinking about it just now, but yeah. Yeah, just get excited for next product. Um, shout outs to Red Letter Media.
Yeah. Well, no shout outs to them because I'm sure they like this movie.
Oh
Um,
God, you think so?
I
They
need to
can't.
watch I need to watch the review of it, but I bet you they liked it. They're I don't know. I've lost I don't know. I've lost a little bit of respect for them ever since their It review. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah. Cuz I was actually I think I wrote down a bit that I was going to do about Red Letter Media and that It review because if this one had turned out to be good, I was going to go back to their It review of how they had treated that movie where it's
Mhm.
like they had treated that movie as if people don't like to enjoy some stuff that's like they go to movies to be scared. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because this movie talks about that type of stuff at the beginning with heightened, what is it, heightened horror, something like that. What did they keep calling it? They reference it like 4 times in there. Um,
Heightened horror.
yeah, heightened horror, like elevated horror.
Right.
Where it's like they were in that review they were acting like everything has to be like elevated horror, like everything has to be The Witch or Hereditary. You know what I mean? Where it has to be that type of horror movie where it's telling something to you, and people don't like to see stuff that's just jump scares and like scary clown and stuff like that. They were just calling them like fat Midwestern retards and stuff in that review. And it's like, well, first of all, you're fat and you live in Wisconsin, but second of all, you that's I mean, you act like nobody likes to see that stuff. You know what I mean? That sometimes you do want to see that stuff. And I felt I was if this movie had come out good, I was gonna say that it's not gonna win an Oscar, but you know sometimes people just want to go see that type of movie.
Right.
You know, but this bad for me. This movie ended up being shit, so I
Well,
didn't
I
get to
don't.
do my grand speech, even though I just did.
Right. Well, the thing that's weird about that is like why I don't understand it. I mean, jump scares can be used well. It's just that people abuse it so much. For like cheap,
It's,
like
yeah,
for cheap scares and stuff like that. I mean, they might be making a joke about that in this movie.
yeah.
Um,
There's one part that is definitely a joke at that, but it's also it's poor. It's executed so poorly that it didn't. All the all the um any message that I was trying to portray was lost in translation because it was just and it just ended up being a funny haha. You know what I mean?
but well, I mean, when does it stop being meta commentary and start being a shit post?
Yeah, I've never been to a movie where I don't think I've ever been to a horror movie where everybody laughed at almost every scene. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
really?
Yeah,
Uh,
it's so weird. You know what I mean? And part of that might be like I said, the Zoomer mindset of like, oh, that person got their head cut off, ha ha ha. Um,
well, I mean, no, there. I mean, there was like some horror movies where like people that like the kills were like so ridiculous. They remember like in Friday the 13th Part 5 or whatever, where he punches the dude's head off,
yeah, well, I know, but that's
laughing at how bad it is.
yeah, exactly. That was them trying to be cool. Like the more you try to be cool, the more you fall into out the edge, and the more you fall into out the edge, the more you're gonna be like Mortal Kombat. You know what I mean? Where it's like, it's like, oh hey, look at this. He did a backflip kick, kicked his head off. It fell on a spike. Then he shoved the spike up his ass, and then he ran around with the spiked head on his ass, and then he did a back front flip and spiked somebody else's head. You know what I mean? Like, and then it ends up being funny, and then it ends up being funny because of how stupid, how fucking ridiculous you made the kill. You know?
Yeah, and unrealistic. I just I think that there's another thing that bothers me about like modern movies is that they get overly violent really quickly. I don't know if that was the case in the other Scream movies. I thought like people got stabbed like once.
No, in the
Um,
Scream movies, they get stabbed. They get stabbed pretty good, but the stabbings are like you're not supposed to be laughing at them. You're supposed to be like, oh my gosh, she got stabbed.
right. No,
Yeah.
well, I mean like there's something about well, I mean I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent about like there's something weird about like these modern some of the modern movies where they're not very good story-wise, but they're super violent in other aspects. And then
Mhm.
they're like hyper realistically violent too.
Mhm.
But they have um like shit scares and they're not like I guess atmospherically scary and then they like kind of overcompensate with like these really gory deaths and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um so that's just something I've noticed with some of these movies and I think this might fall into it a little bit. It's not as gory as some of the other movies that I've seen, but that weird like problem with the story not being so great, kind of being shit, um, is present here. But since it's just something I've noticed recently.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So, anything else you want to bring up before we start going into the
Do
to
you
the
know? Do you
spoilery
know
part
how?
of the
Do you know how well this movie did in the box office?
this box office? It made 84 million.
84 million. Okay.
Oh, and yeah, the film grossed over 84 million so far.
Mhm.
Um, and I think in opening day January 14th and was and was praised by critics as honoring Craven's legacy and offering
Oh,
thoughtful meta commentary on horror films with some of calling it the best the best of the Scream sequels. Um
wow.
this is
Okay. That's the same praise that they a lot of a lot of the Gen Xer like jaded movie reviewers were giving the Matrix, right?
I think you're
Where they
right,
were
yeah.
like, "Oh, Lana Wachowski was like doing these like jabs at the movie industry and stuff," and I'm like, "Yeah, yeah," but she was also doing jabs at the audience and the movie studio and movies in general and Keanu Reeves and video games and pretty much
Her
Republicans and
her own
everybody she
career.
hates, basically. You know, her therapist.
Yeah. Yeah. Um yeah, I'm not sure why this one is liked so much and the other one isn't. Like
It's
I
like
think
what you
the
said. The government. um, they people were indoors so long that they wanted to get out, and the movie studios, they're business people, and business people are pretty smart. You know what I mean? Contrary to what everybody says, like business people are pretty smart. You know what I mean? So they knew that everybody the pandemic's kind of calming down. They're letting people out, to go watch movies and stuff. They're allowing them to go outside, and they they're gonna go want to do stuff. They're gonna go watch a movie and stuff. So let's have Scream just in the theater, because given the option between staying, because people are so used to staying home now, that's like, given the option between staying home and watching it on your big screen and going out and watching it in the theater, you're probably gonna want to stay home. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah, and the price is not that bad. You can rent a movie, like a movie that's released in theaters and streaming at the same time. You can rent one for like $20, so you can have it in your house. Invite your friends, 10 people. You watch it on your 70-inch TV, or maybe you have a home theater or something. you invite people over, you all watch it together, have a fun time. You know what I mean? Or you can go to the theater and
Yeah.
sit in the recliners and maybe have to like listen to dudes laughing at every murder scene like I had to. You know?
Oh God.
Yeah.
What I've only started really liking the theater experience. Once I mean, I've always had issues like getting out of the house, but
Hmm.
like, and maybe the movie theater. Very few times have I been in like a very rude movie theater.
Hmm.
Um, so I probably enjoyed it a lot more, but I'm sure everybody was just excited to be out of their house.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, this movie did pretty. I think pretty good. That figure that I said before, 89 million world. It was worldwide. So and
Oh,
doesn't say the
worldwide?
budget
Oh, that's not
here.
very good then.
Yeah. Yeah, I let's the budget was 24 million. So it
Wow,
doubled
that's a
its
good.
budget.
That's good.
Well, I mean, it didn't look like they had too many locations and stuff, and I mean, I don't think a movie like this has like costs too much to make. So yeah, it did really well. It made all its money back and then some, so it made a profit. All right. So should we move into the spoiler section, or do you have anything else that you wanted to?
Um, Let me see if there's anything else I want to say about it that's not spoiler related. No, I think all my notes after that are all related to the movie.
All right.
All right, guys.
So
Just all the spoiler information is in the comment section and in the description. So I'll tell you when to go ahead and switch it out. So yeah. Okay, go ahead and start with the movie recap here. I think everybody's gone.
okay. Alrighty. Okay, so the opening started what is it called, with some chick in her house who I her hair looked a little curly, so I thought she was going to be more like some of the other characters that we saw later on in the movie.
Right, right.
But it could have just been the screening that I saw that was a little washed out in the darkness or whatever. And a lot of people kept getting up, so it distracted me in the screening that I was watching. Um
Yeah.
so she's like hanging out in her kitchen, and she gets a call. The call what is it called, of the ghost face on the phone. Um and he says the iconic line, "What's your favorite scary movie?" Which I
Yeah. Well,
forgot was the thing.
he like pretends to be like every robocall he pretends to be a real person who's like
Oh
calling for
yeah.
someone else and he's like, "What are you calling about?" And then he wouldn't say.
Huh.
And then he's like, "What's your favorite scary movie?" After a while, and I was like, "That's," I was like, "What?" That's kind of funny.
Well, the thing is that I thought this was super millennial. Of he was calling about somebody else, right? He's calling
Yeah.
about like, I forget who the person he was calling about. I don't think it was the main character later.
Hmm.
Um, but he's calling about somebody else. Oh, I think he was calling about his mom, her mom,
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and
that's neither here nor
saying
there.
that she was true. Well, I mean, there is some like subtle hints to like where the story goes later, because he was talking about like being in like a rehab program or like an AA meeting or something like that with
Hmm.
her, and that she talked about the girl in the house talking to him on the phone,
Hmm.
and said that some of the things that she liked and all that, like her hobbies. And it was kind of funny too, because when she asked him about like, "Oh, what did she say about me?" um he kind of like stumbled a little bit,
Hmm.
which I thought was pretty interesting, seeing what happens later on in the movie. But like so then he asks her what's her favorite scary movie, and then she answers immediately and says the Bad Duke.
No,
Oh,
the
I'm sorry. I
Babadook.
think it was the Babadook. Yeah,
No,
the
doesn't she
Babadook. I'm
say
sorry.
Hereditary?
I believe it was the Babadook, because that's what I have written down here.
Oh, okay.
And she mentions
Alrighty.
the Babadook later on in the movie also.
They mention I believe they mention Hereditary, the Babadook, and the Witch.
Yeah, is
Yeah,
that all Paramount like
The
movies or
VV
something?
Vitch.
The yeah, is that that's all Paramount movies, right? Or
I
like
think so, or whatever Miramax, whatever whoever owns Scream right now. But Miramax, I believe. Um, shout outs to shout outs to old man in jail there. Um, uh,
my boy, what is it called? My boy HW.
yeah. um,
He's not
but
my boy.
no, he's no, he's we don't endorse him. He deserves to hang. But for not for the reasons that you think. But he the movie starts with that, and yeah, they talk about that, and the guy gets kind of mad about it, the guy who's talking on the phone, and she starts talking about like elevated horror, like I was saying in the intro. That's actually where I got it from. And she's like, oh, I like elevated horror, blah blah blah, and all this stuff. The slasher stuff is dumb and passe, and I'm like, oh well, there you go. This is a little zoomer, a little jab at the zoomers there.
I don't even
Not
know if there's another thing I wanted to bring up
college student.
later, but yeah, I guess so. But I don't know if it's like is that a Zoomer opinion or is that a millennial opinion?
That it's a college student opinion. Yeah,
Yeah, I
a
guess
film
so.
student opinion. Um, this movie shits on everyone's opinions. Let's just put it that way.
Right.
It's just like Lana, just like Lana Wachowski. This movie hates your opinions.
Yeah, and doesn't like you for having a brain.
Yeah, exactly.
So, or like thinking about your
They
what you
really hate
ingest.
when you don't consume next product.
Yeah, they really dislike it. Shame on you. So then she says I think he brings up the stab movies, right?
Yes, and
Um,
Stabbed, as we know before, was the stand-in for Scream.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
she like looks on her phone and brings up the film analytics for it. Um, for the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think this is like a lampooning of like people being able to look up reviews very quickly,
Mm-hmm.
or like bringing up the fact that you can look it up and then like decide whether you want to watch it or not, or hopefully listen to two cool guys talking about it and listen to their opinion.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, also, I just wanted to say that the girl who's in it, uh, the girl who's at the beginning, I don't remember what her name was. She's
her
also
name was
really hmm?
Tara.
Tara. Well, she's very obnoxious, and I was kind of putting up with her obnoxiousness because I thought that something. I thought that the intro was gonna be like the original intro from the first movie. So I was kind of letting it slide because I'm like, she's gonna die anyway. You know what I mean? Um,
I didn't think she. I when I saw the the end part where she was because well, I mean, half at the end of the scene, I was like, she's probably gonna survive,
fuck. Yeah.
um, because there was different things that was happening in that compared to the first one, um, so I was like, she's probably gonna survive, and I just kind of got the feeling because I've seen so many of these sequel type movies before, and I kind of got and we live in this decade and in this era of movies being made, so you know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Um, So, sorry, were you gonna say something else?
No, I was gonna say that. No, that's all I had to say because that was in my notes.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so then, what is it called? She, so when he asked about like the stab movies or whatever, she pulls up the analytics and she's like, "Oh yeah, I know that movie. It was super '90s, um, super '90s, and everybody had weird hair." Um,
Did she really say
Hikyo,
that?
yeah, she did say that. And that's obviously, I mean, stab is Scream. So I'm sure this is an opinion they've heard before. Um, and so I think he also says, "Would you like to play a game?" In
Yeah,
the
that I thought was really weird.
yeah, I think that might have actually I think that might have happened in the first ones also. Um, so don't I was like wondering I was like, is that a Saw reference? Because I don't remember um the other ones too well. So I was like you know scratching my chin or whatever, trying to think. Um, so I forget who they started playing the game or whatever, and I forget who the girl that is being threatened by Ghostface is, because he says he shows her a video over FaceTime
Mm-hmm.
of her friend like brushing her hair, and then she's all like, "Okay, now you gotta like answer correctly, otherwise I'm gonna kill your friend." Um, in the in her room or whatever. I forget who the friend was. Tony, do you remember who the friend
It
was?
was
It
a
was like a
sister.
girl with like, was it the sister?
It was a sister. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, he shows the sister in the FaceTime video or whatever, and then they play the game of like, scary movie history. Um uh oh, I think she also brought up It Follows too when they were bringing up like the um
The
well,
elevated
bringing
horror
up it in,
movies.
yeah, the elevated horror movies, yeah. And so one thing so like they go through the questions and stuff, and the the Tara, she uses her phone to look up one of the answers, which I thought was pretty good. Um, because you never see that in horror movies.
Yeah, I thought that was really. I thought that was really neat. That's when I was like, oh, that's kind of, that was it was kind of a. It was kind of giving me hope for the rest of the movie.
That's what I was thinking. Like at this point, I was like, because I had heard from other people that told me about it, that it was a good movie. So it taught me not to trust anybody. But also, like I still had. I mean, I didn't realize it was gonna be as bad as it was by this time. By this point, so I was just tolerating it all. But so then she looks it up, and then like the last question, she doesn't look up on her phone. She like thinks she knows it,
Yeah.
and I believe it was a trick question because the um the killer uh in the answer, it was two killers. It wasn't just one. So I think that's also a call. I think that's also a callback to the first movie because it was two killers instead of just one killer.
Yeah.
Um. So yeah. So then what is it called? I think Ghostface says
Reveals
she
himself
loses.
and he starts chasing her around the house. Um.
Oh, he wasn't. Well, he was outside the door. Like he was outside the door, and he was able to turn off her security system after she enabled it with her phone.
Mhm.
Um, and then she like ran to the kitchen to get her own knife, so she was gonna have like a knife fight with Ghostface.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he.
Which is a big
Mhm.
issue with this movie. It is very anti. I don't want to say it's anti-gun, but nobody has a gun in a town where there was several murders and repeat murders. And then even after
This-
there are murders happening again, people still do not arm themselves in this movie, which is kind of
well,
funny
this
because that's such a horror movie trope.
no one has any
But
guns.
no, that nobody has any guns. That's like such a horror movie trope, but it didn't point itself out. If anything, it does a
There was
joke at the expense of it.
what joke was that? Which
It
which
was
one was?
later on when we meet the boyfriend, but we got to get moving.
Oh, I see. Okay,
Yeah.
so so as the what is it called? So as he disarms it, uh so Tara like tries to run away, and like Ghostface starts stabbing her. Um
Yeah, it's pretty brutal too. I was a little bit. I thought it was a little bit more violent than the original ones because he like stabs her and then she tries to crawl away and he stomps her leg and breaks it.
yeah.
Like you see the leg break. It's really really gruesome.
Yeah, well, she tried like kicking him away and stuff like that. Like, so she was fighting back the entire time, and this is when I knew like that I was saying before. I was like, this is kind of different from the other ones because they get stabbed and then just keep running away, or maybe they'll kick him once and then they'll fall over. Um, but she was like really fighting him
Hmm.
as he was stabbing her, and at one point like Ghostface slams his head on the kitchen cupboard. So that was like a weird thing. I was like, Jesus. um, and then And so yeah, he breaks her leg. She's like trying to crawl away, and then the last stab that Ghostface lands on her, opens up the movie with the big slash, and it has the title screen that says "Scream" on it. Um, so after that, we cut to a girl hanging out in front of a bowling alley, like smoking a cigarette.
As you
So I
want to
guess it was
do.
the yeah, exactly. Especially when you work at a bowling alley.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Oh, and it's also in Modesto, California, which is a weird place to hold the. Where does the original Scream movies take place?
I think it's in like a fictional town.
Yeah, but
Uh,
I just thought it
it's
was
a
weird that they were like Modesto, California. I'm like, okay, that's oddly specific. You could have just showed the
Woodsboro.
bowling alley.
True. Um, I guess they wanted to show how far away it was. Woodsboro is the name of the town. I'm not sure what part of.
Yeah, so they made up a town. So why would they say Modesto? Because who do? Nope, nobody would know where Modesto is in relation to the made up town. So I don't know. That's just a little
True.
weird. Something tells me the director's from Modesto or something.
Well, everybody's from California. I'm pretty sure the director's from California.
Yeah. No, definitely,
Um,
definitely.
I saw it in the Wikipedia that he's from California.
Hmm.
It doesn't say where though, so you might be right about that.
Um.
Um,
Yeah. Well,
he's
any.
from Oakland. I'm sorry,
Oh, he's from
from
Oakland.
Oakland.
Oh, right, right, okay.
Yeah.
He's
I don't
also
know
a
if
murderer.
Modesto. So the girl's like hanging out in front of the bowling alley, smoking. Her boyfriend comes out to meet her outside. Um, and she gets a phone call while she's like making out with her boyfriend. She takes some pills too. I don't know if that was like I
Yeah,
think I know
they
what it
they talk
was.
about yeah, exactly. They talk about that later on, which I thought was hilarious because then at the end of it, they at the end of it, it's just this really like weird scene if you really remember if you actually remember why she's taking those pills. Um yeah, yeah, go ahead. We're in the hospital apparently Tina, what
I
was her
just
name?
thought she was
Hmm?
her name was they don't reveal it yet, but her name is Sam.
Sam, yeah. Sam is in there waiting for apparently the girl that got stabbed is her sister.
Yeah, yeah. And what is it called? Yeah, so she's so Sam's the sister of Tara. I thought she was just a disgusting drug addict. That's why I thought she was taking the pills because she had like that kind of like druggy kind of look to her. But so she gets the call. Yeah, she gets the call for Tara, and then like her and her boyfriend head out to back to Woodsboro to go meet her. Cut to like some high school kids hanging around some tables, and they're talking about like their friend Tara getting attacked, and they're all like super flippant
Oh
about
wait,
like
can we
her
say
getting
that
attacked.
Sam is Tara's sister? But
Yeah,
also
we did.
she brings her boyfriend who's like the soyest of the soy.
He's pretty soy. Yeah,
He's
he
very
kind of.
soy. He even has a lisp and everything, which I thought was strange for a guy dating a woman.
Yeah, he
Um,
has a beard. He's got like that like kind of curly hair thing going. He's like
yeah,
every.
it's
He's
kind of
like a.
reddish.
Yeah, he looks like the developer of No Man's Sky. That's what he looks like to me.
Yeah, he looks like the if you've ever seen that Yick, a post-apocalyptic a post what is it? A post anyways, whatever.
Huh?
He looks like a soy. He looks like the
Yeah.
skinny
So.
quartering.
Oh God, don't bring him up.
But
So he
shout
probably loved this movie.
shout outs. We love you, quartering. All right, good.
Please have us on your show. Um. So then, what is it called? So then they're talking about like Tara getting stabbed and how hilarious it was. Um.
Dude, they're so. Everyone in this movie is so obnoxious.
I know.
They are
Yeah.
literally like laughing at their friend having just been stabbed, almost
I
dying.
know. They kind of. I brought it up later. That in
That's the
I guess
attitude that I'm talking about with the attitude they were trying to portray in the movie.
I'm gonna bring it up now. But like, there's like a weird. Some of the characters in this movie. It's one in particular. I'm wondering. It's like, why is she talking about this if this is real life? Like this, you in real life, your friend gets stabbed or whatever. It's like a horror movie. That's more of like a horrifying revelation. It's not something to be like talking about like it's an everyday occurrence, or it's like not necessarily actually happening to you.
Yeah.
Um, you get what I'm saying? Like if your friend got run over by a car, you wouldn't be like, "Oh yeah, he got run over by a car," and then what is it called? He should have known like the what is it? He should have known like the act. He should have known like in GTA, whenever you cross the street or whatever, you get run over by a car in hilarious fashion. Um,
Yeah, or like if they, like if you were a fan of the movie Crash by David Cronenberg, and your friend died in a car crash, you'd be like, I wonder if he was trying to derive sexual pleasure from this. Like you don't do that. You know what I mean? You don't like relate everything to freaking movies. But yeah, go ahead.
Right, yeah. So,
And I know which character you're talking about, and yeah, man, I would talk about that character later. Go ahead.
that was my I disliked her so much.
Yeah.
So the girl they're talking about it. There is a blonde looking dude. There's a kid with blonde highlights. There is a what is it called? There's two black characters. They're half black as it's revealed later.
Oh, because they're related, right? They're brother and
They're brother
sister.
and sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're brother and sister.
The jock
And
guy looks like Patrick Mahomes because every jock guy has to look like him now. I don't know why.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
He looks like
this is a
Patrick.
little sports reference for everybody, but yeah.
Yeah, he's also yeah. Well, I'll start naming their names. So the blonde guy, the guy with the blonde hairlight,
Hmm.
highlights. His
Yeah,
name is
bleach
Wes.
blonde.
Yeah, bleach blonde highlights. His name is
Hmm.
Wes.
Hmm.
Um, the two black characters, get this, is Chad, and Mindy. And
That's on purpose.
yeah, I know it was.
Yeah.
And later on, it's gonna be obvious that this was on purpose. Um, there's another girl named Amber, she's like dark haired with like pale skin.
She looks like
She
Pokimane.
I She looks a bit like Pokemon. I didn't know if she was like half Asian. I wrote her down as like maybe like an Asian girl or something. Just because I wanted to get their features down as much as possible. And what is it called?
So you can
And
imagine them in your head. So if you imagine her with like little eyes and big buck teeth, that's your own fault. You're racist, not us. So, anyways, what were you saying?
and the glasses, and she has what is it called? She's wearing a kimono.
Yeah.
Um, so and the third girl, which I did not catch her name. I called her pink haired girl.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um,
Fucking. Oh, I called her something else when we were in the thing, but she's pretty. She seems like she's pretty stacked. You know what I mean?
I didn't notice that at all.
Yeah.
Okay, well, okay. I guess
She was
this
really
was
big.
bad
She was a
screening,
big
but-
girl. You know what I mean? And I don't mean like
Um,
fat wise. I mean she was like really tall, and her chin was very square, and she had a big upper body. And I was like, is this? She's a beautiful woman. She might be stunning and brave. I don't know, but I think it was an athletic woman. What were you saying?
uh, Wachowski.
Yeah.
What is it called? Oh, the hair color, the colored girl or the pink-haired girl.
Hmm.
They're like talking about what happened to Tara, and they kind of like say, "Oh yeah, we should go visit her," or something like that. And and Chad notices a guy in a Trans Am in the distance. Um,
Yeah,
and
there's a guy with a Trans Am over there, and he's kind of like just staring at them and stuff, and they don't really know why. And um he's just like staring, and then the boyfriend's like, "What's up with that guy?" And the girl is like, "Oh man, that's my ex boyfriend. He's been like obsessed with me after all this stuff." And I was like, I actually asked the person I was watching with. I'm like, is this person are they supposed to be in high school? Because that looks like a grown man. Because he has like an old car and everything. And she said that they're college age, and I was like, okay, no, I'm not asking you if they're, I'm not asking you if they're, what their age looks like in real life, because obviously they're all grown, they're all probably in their 30s. I was like, well, in the movie, what year how old are they supposed to be? because all of them live with their parents, and they're all hanging out like at a bench and like front of a school. But I don't know if it's supposed to be a college, so they might have been college age. But she was dating some like 40-year-old like jailbird, you know?
I think they're supposed. I
Yeah.
think I think they were supposed to be in high school because one of the main character, they said it in their when they meet up later that she took care of them when they were
Hmm.
babies. So I know for sure that they're millennials.
Yeah.
Sam and her boyfriend. So so yeah, I think they're in high school, and I mean it's not like out of the it's not out of the realm of possibility that like a dude who's like in his 30s is dating a high school girl. There's a lot of
No, no,
scumbags out
not at
there.
all. And especially if you just look at her, you know what I mean.
That too,
You kind of
yeah.
make you put two and two together. Um, I mean,
She
who?
was
Yeah.
that guy's name is Vince. Um and he wasn't like her ex-boyfriend. He was a guy that was that she hooked up with. That's what Chad said. Chad is okay with that, so I don't know if he's that big of a
Well,
Chad.
I have my theories about that, but yeah. Well, I mean, he has everything going for him. He's got like a football scholarship and stuff like that, so he's kind of like the ready to settle down guy. But he he gets into it with the guy. You know, he wants to go over to. Well, he doesn't get into it with him yet, but he does say he wants to go over there and fight him and beat him up and stuff. And I'm like, I mean, this is how people get shot. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it bites him in the ass later because, yeah.
Yeah.
Funny the thing that you said that no one has a gun in the. Well, the funny enough, the thing that you said, the blonde dude,
Mm-hmm.
the dude with Wes, he says that everyone should stay safe, like get a taser or something like that, have like a couple of like defensive weapons and whatnot, and they all call him a nerd.
Yeah.
They all call him like a dork and stuff for like trying to be like self defense oriented. And
After a
remember
murder,
that.
what had just happened.
Yeah, after a murder just happened. But remember that. Remember that that happens because I want to point out something else too. That happens later on in the movie. Um, so yeah, they call him a nerd for like trying to be safe and whatnot. And so we cut to after they decide, all right, let's go visit Tara or whatever. We cut to Sam and her boyfriend like driving towards what Woodsboro. I almost said West. So um what is it called? And Sam gives her boyfriend a rundown on the stab movies and what inspired them, and that they're headed towards the town that inspired all those movies. Um, and so he's never heard of it, and I think they make like a Netflix reference. And he's all like, "Oh, okay, then I guess maybe I'll watch these or something like that." And so
Yeah,
the
trying to
crew of
get you to
friends.
watch the movies because they still own the rights to them. So if you watch them, you rent them off of Amazon, they get money from them.
Well, I mean, it might be. They said Netflix, so I guess the scare. I guess what is it called? Scream is on Netflix right now. So, um, I assume. Um,
Oh, I know what the reference
or
you
it
was
might.
saying. They were saying that they're like, I didn't see the first Scream, but I also didn't watch Gone with the Wind, and I'm like, what? They like compared their own movie to
It's
Gone with the Wind. Is stupid.
just funny because it's the joke I made at the beginning of the.
Yeah.
So the crew. So like the group of friends, they end up in Tara's like hospital room, and they're
Oh,
talking to
good.
Tara
I
for a
didn't
bit.
write any notes about this because this scene was so like Sam is such a bad actress. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
She's so
'cause,
terrible.
I thought she was. I wasn't really paying attention to the acting and stuff like that. I was more paying attention to like what they were. I mean, what they were saying was pretty shit too. Like, I don't know if the writing wanted them to sound like that, but like, yeah. Um, but she could probably also be adding to. She could also be adding to the issue with her bad acting. So,
Yeah.
um, and so um, so like Sam like busts into the room. Um, and like I think Tara like she's awake at this point, right? She's like awake and like talking to everybody.
I believe so.
Yeah. And so, oh, I'm sorry, her boyfriend name his her boyfriend, Sam's boyfriend's name is Gene. His
Gene. His
name is
name is
Gene
Gene.
every.
Okay.
Yeah, and you'll forget that because we're gonna probably keep calling him a boyfriend.
Her
And
soy friend.
yeah, exactly. um, what's it called? And so I think Amber, the Asian chick that we were talking about before, dark haired. She
Pokimane. I called her Pokimane through the whole movie. She's
okay, so
Pokimane everything in my notes.
well, you'll remember her name because I'm gonna bring her up a lot. Amber does not like Sam, and Amber talks about like I think Tara asks them to leave the room, and then Amber like talks to the friend group about why she dislikes Sam, that she uh what is it called? Oh no, I'm sorry. Amber tells them that the that their mother, Sam and Tara, is an absentee mother, and is not really reliable, or she basically says it without saying it. She insinuates it. Um, it's also shown that Tara has asthma. She has like a inhaler and stuff, and that's sort of important to remember. It's kind of like a throwaway thing, but it comes back and is a reason for a plot movement. Um, so Amber, continuing to talk to the friend group, also uh, reveals that Sam used to be a troublemaker um, to her family, and that to Tara's family, and she's very protective of, and Amber is very protective of Tara. So so that's why Amber does not like Sam, because she used to cause a bunch of trouble, wreak a lot of havoc, get in trouble with the police, um, which made me think, oh yeah, she's probably a pillhead or something like that. Definitely like someone to watch out for. Um, and so the group of friends, they they leave, and they end up going to a bar, and
Yep.
the bar looks like a shitty like dive bar or something. They have like purple lighting. Did they have pool there too? I think they were playing pool when the scene like cuts to them in the bar.
Yeah,
Um
it was a dive bar. You know, it's one of those things that one of those places that people like going to or whatever because they like the atmosphere or whatever. Like college kids like going there because you know, it's like oh, it's like in the movies.
it makes them feel tough.
Yeah.
Um which I think like as they're playing pool, Vince shows up, the guy, the creepy 30-year-old dude with the Trans Am. Which I was about to ask you if it actually was a Trans Am because that's what I wrote down in my
I don't
notes.
remember. I
I
feel
think
like
it
it
was like
was.
okay, cool. Because I was like, okay, Tony will be able to shed some light on this, but or he's gonna call me out on it if I get it wrong. Um,
I don't remember what
so
it was.
so Vince like comes out and he starts like so Vince like shows up and no one's happy to see him, and he starts trying to like talk to the pink haired chick, and then Chad is all like, "Hey, bro, she's with me, bro." And then I wrote this down. Vince comes in, talks some shit, and like a bitch pulls out a knife on Chad. It really angered me that he pulled out the knife on Chad. I don't know why it bothered me so much. Um, but like we were saying before, like Chad is like a dude who's like will defend the honor of his skanky girlfriend,
Yeah.
and what is it called? And it comes out to bite him in the ass like the simp that he is, because he almost gets stabbed instead of the gun coming out. Like he pulls out like a switchblade. Um,
Yeah, because nobody in this movie has a gun.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Um, and so what is it called? And so like they kind of break themselves up or whatever, and then Vince walks out like like the douchebag that he is. He really bothered me. Like, just fight the guy like a man. Um, and so he's out in an alleyway. It cuts to Vince like out in an alleyway taking a piss on the wall. Um, and his Trans Am turns on by itself because for some reason he parked the car right behind himself while he's taking a piss. And so like the
Yeah, with
lights
the
turn
lights on
on.
so he can see where he's pissing, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think you need to see all that. I think like your night vision, like your eyes dilating is enough to see in that in that kind of lighting. Um, and so like his Trans Am turns on. He's all like, "Hey!" I don't think he knows Chad's name, but he's all like, "You coming to like kill me or whatever?" And he like walks over to the car. There's nobody in there. The car's turned on.
Hmm.
And as he's like reaching into the window to like turn it off, he gets stabbed in the neck by Ghostface. And and after that, he gets stabbed like multiple times. Um, and so I think this cuts to um Sam and her boyfriend in the hospital room, hanging out with Tara. Sam's boyfriend has started watching all the stab movies. Like he's got like his laptop or his like tablet or something.
Another part of the sorry, I know we're trying to get through this quick because we spent a lot of time shitting on the movie at the beginning, but um
Right.
there's I just wanted to point out more of the crap in the movie. The boyfriend gets the ex-boyfriend gets stabbed. That all this happened 5 minutes. They introduce him and then they killed him in like 10 minutes. There was no point in having that character there except to have a stab victim. But then the stabbing wasn't very scary or shocking or anything. You kind of knew he was gonna die already.
See he's the first death in the movie.
He is no well yes, the first death exactly because Tara didn't die.
Tara didn't die. She was attacked, which is funny because they bring up they bring up they bring that up actually in the movie. They bring up like there's I think there was like 3 attack victims at a certain point,
Mm-hmm.
and then they say like only 2 people died, and then they say no because Tara didn't die. So they do bring that up in the movie. Um, so I think they're trying to like what is it called? I think they're trying to cover up their tracks on uh how quickly the movie's moving with characters and how little they matter. Um, which, like I said, if that's a problem with the movie, fix it. Don't like just point it out and then pretend like it's a haha funny joke. Um, no, because it's like you're not fixing the issue. You're just letting it out there, and you're like saying, "Oh, you're just putting your hands in the air, like, honk honk." Isn't it funny? You same shit. Um, so after that, yeah, they're in the hospital. Gene, the boyfriend, he's watching the stab movies on Netflix. While Sam and Tara are asleep in the hospital beds. Um, Sam, I think while she's asleep, Sam has a vision of the first killer from the Scream movies. And he tells her that I'm sorry, she goes to the bathroom and she sees in the mirror behind her the first killer from the Scream movies.
Yeah, who's not played by the guy who was in the original.
Did they have? I don't know if he died or not, or like what they did with that. But did they use
I
like
believe he died, didn't he?
I'm not sure.
That particular actor passed away. I don't remember, but it was definitely not the actor from that movie.
I think they use a deep fake technology for that, or whatever.
I don't even think they did that. I think they just got some guy and gave him kind of stupid swoopy haircut.
No, it looked like him. It definitely looked like him in
Did
certain
it?
points.
I don't know. I
Yeah,
didn't think
to me
so.
it did. Um, so yeah, he like they use those deep fakes from those advertisements and those websites that we won't talk about. So you know the ones. Um, and so he tells her that her antipsychotics are not working. So that reveals what the pills are. They're antipsychotics because I guess
Yeah, because she's freaking crazy.
she's yeah, she's got schizophrenia cast.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Shout outs to the handsome bastards in schizophrenia cast. Um, so and then like after this, uh, Ghostface calls Sam and saying that this was his plan to bring her back. Um, he used Tara to bring her back. So I guess he's insinuating that he let Tara live.
Yeah.
Um, I suppose. Um, and so she's all like, "What? What's going on?" And then Ghostface is there and attacks Sam. And
Yeah, he.
Sam's
I
like,
wrote it down in my notes. I said, "Scream." Scream pops out of nowhere and goes "boo," and like literally like a scare.
I mean, he does that a lot. It's oh god.
I know, but this one was so unexpected because it was so stupid. It wasn't,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like they didn't they didn't it was surprising because it was like you would be like they would be fucking retarded to make him jump out here, and guess what? They were.
It
So it was kind
was.
of baffling.
I didn't. I mean, it wasn't like I wasn't. I didn't. I just didn't care that it happened. What is it called? Uh, I wasn't. I wasn't really that scared. When it happened, I was like, okay, this is what's happening in the movie now. They run into the cafeteria, um, as uh, Sam escapes I think the bathroom that they were in, and she's like throwing chairs and shit at Ghostface. Which like I watched Ghostface and I'm like, how is this an I don't know why a dude with a knife is so intimidating to people and can kill so many people all at once. Like I don't know. There's just something about that just like because I know that there's large stabbings in places where people aren't prepared.
It's because the stabbing is
Um,
personal.
that's well, I mean, how do you mean?
Like you really, really have to want to stab somebody to stab them. You know what I mean?
True, true, but the dude that they get to play Ghostface is always so like kind of feeble and skinny looking
Mm-hmm.
that I'm kind of like, I don't. Could someone
Well, it's
overpower this
because
guy fairly easily?
it's the element of surprise, which was weird about this movie because they would always have him like jump out and everybody just like try to fight him off or successfully fight him off. You know what I mean? Which
Right.
makes it kind of dumb because the first one made more sense, them running away and just keep running away from this guy because it's like it's a crazy guy with a knife and you're not expecting it. Flight or fight takes over and most people will run away, you know, from something like that. So
Right.
so yeah, that's the scary part about the Scream guy is just that he just pops out of nowhere. Usually most of the time he's behind someone and stabs them from behind. You know what I mean? That's the part
Yeah.
that was scary about him. But I mean, it's probably why his costume's all black too. I know he looks like a scary, like a spooky, scary ghost or whatever. But his outfit is all black. It's hard to see him. You know what I mean?
I wonder. I wonder how many dudes tripped when they were like playing, when they were dressing up as him for Halloween, and
Mm-hmm.
like were trying to chase people, and then they fell on their dress. Like their dress got caught up in their legs or whatever, and they fell over.
A lot.
Um, or they like got caught on like some trees or something, like a tree branch or like a fence or something like that, with their flowing like burqa. So I don't know. I don't find that to be a scary. Maybe they did that on purpose or something, but um, Billy Loomis, the guy who plays Billy Loomis, who's the original killer, um, one of the original killers from Scream. He's not dead. he's he's currently 52, has two kids. His name is Brian Ray Trout. So I don't think he was. I think he was in this movie, but they made his face like look younger.
Mm.
Um, don't quote me on that. But
He looks strange to me.
yeah, he did look weird. I honestly thought, like I said, I thought they used like a deep fake for his face. Um, so so then so Sam like runs away from Ghostface out of the cafeteria, and she runs into a cop. Um, she tells him, "Oh yeah, Ghostface is in the cafeteria or whatever." He goes in there and she's not there, and he's not there. He's ran away. Um, what is it called? So she meets up. She talks to the Asian cop, and then the sheriff
The Asian
of the
cop. Oh
town.
yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, the really tall ass guy with the stupid haircut. He
Yeah,
had
that
like
guy. Yeah.
he had like a pinhead haircut, and he was
Not the.
ginormous. I think he had to be a pro wrestler or something.
He was I don't know, not the best hairstyle for that guy. He's got a credit in the movie, even though he's like what in there for like 2 seconds. I don't know if he's like a cameo or something. His name is Chester Tam. Um, and he's an actor and writer. Uh, he was in Hot Rod. Um,
Oh, was he
yeah,
There's no
he
fool in this pool?
Hope so. Um, I hope so.
I think he was. I think he. That's where I recognized him. He's this. There's no pool in this pool. Looking for our hot rod review coming up soon.
Oh God, no! I can't watch it again. Oh, yep, it's him. It's no fool in this pool. Yeah, it's him. That's our boy, Mr. Sam. Never forget. You're cringe, dude.
All right, all right.
So
Come on our
so
show.
Chester, so cringy Tam. He's standing next to like the sheriff of the town, who is a character from like I don't know number 3 or number 2 or something. Her name is Hicks. So her last name is Hicks. Um, and Sam knows her. So Sheriff Hicks, I guess,
She's
was
like a
like a deputy.
BBW MILF.
Yeah, she looks like Cody Vore. I don't know who that is. So yeah, so Sheriff Hicks is like, I guess she used to be Deputy Hicks in one of the other Scream movies, but Sam knows her, and I guess they don't like each other because of
Ah.
Sam's history of being a troublemaker and getting in trouble with getting into it with the law, and uh
Yeah, she was a bad girl, I guess, from the at the beginning of the movie. She's smoking a cigarette at the bowling alley, so it's supposed to be like she's a bad girl, outcast. But she doesn't act like it throughout the movie. She is a horrible actress.
yeah, she's I mean she like gives Sheriff Hicks on attitude, but not really like she
She
doesn't
has
really
no
show
edge.
anything. Yeah, she doesn't show herself to be street smart either.
Hmm.
Well, maybe at one point in the movie, but that's like it. Because the other parts of the movie, doesn't really, it doesn't really show. And so, I guess her conversation with Sheriff Hicks gives her like a bad taste in her mouth, and and like her encounter with Ghostface is like uh awakens something inside of her. So she goes to Tara to reveal why she had left all those years ago. Cuz back in the day she left like I think it's been like 5 years since Sam had abandoned their family
Hmm.
and run away after being a troublemaker for some years. And she reveals that she found a diary in her, I believe, in the attic of their family's house. And in the diary, it showed that her mom had cheated on her dad when she was in high school and gotten pregnant by one of the high schoolers that was not her dad, and convinced the dad that daughter that Sam was his daughter. And so Sam was so upset by this. I think she was like around 13 years old. Sam was so upset by finding this out in the diary that she confronted the mom in the house, showed her the diary, and yelled at her, screaming, that about what she discovered, and also she was yelling so loud that oh, and revealed that her real dad is Billy Loomis from the first movies, so
Yeah.
the original killer. And so the dad was like was around. I guess he was standing in the doorway the whole time, listening to this whole thing happening, and was like, "All right, screw this." And so he abandoned the family,
Hmm.
and he abandoned the family, and Sam's mom, like a giant bitch, blamed Sam for it.
Yeah, really. I mean, that's a dick move.
Yeah, I was like, this is probably like the most realistic depiction of like a what is it called, family, dysfunctional family, because motherfuckers actually do that stupid shit like that.
Yeah.
Um, so And so like Tara like freaks out and is like, "Leave me alone. I don't want to hear about all this stuff. You can't just like come into my life after I got stabbed a million times and tell me that all this stuff and that I shouldn't be mad at you and stuff
Yeah,
like
you can't
that."
tell me like something that you would be it would be more shocking to reveal later on in the first 30 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
You can't tell me the whole
Um
plot of the movie in the first 30 minutes of the movie.
But yeah, and by the way, this is very important to the story going forward.
This is 30
Very,
minutes
very,
in, people.
very 30 minutes in. This is very, very important to the story going forward. This is pivotal to the to the story. It can't there would be no chance of this not being in the movie at all and having it be pivotal to the story and telling a good story and all that stuff, which we'll find out later and they will bring attention to later. So, um then like Tara's like, "Get out, bitch!" And and then Sam like is like, "Okay," and then she leaves.
Hmm.
Maybe you shouldn't say that stuff to a person that got stabbed a million times and has like a fucking like tube in her nose.
Yeah, that's more
I
of
don't
a
think
I remember a long time ago I watched this episode of Loveline where
yeah.
where he was Doctor a lady was asking her Doctor Drew if she should tell her boyfriend that she cheated or whatever, and he was saying that, well, if you feel really guilty about cheating, then you should just leave him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because if you don't want to tell him, that means you don't want him to leave you. But if you're doing that, you're being selfish. So you should probably just leave because he'll leave you anyway if you tell him that you cheated. So the reason that you're not telling him that you're cheating is because you think that he'll be mad at you and now you're being selfish. But also you're going to go tell him. Telling him is also selfish because you're doing it just to ease your own mind, not because you feel bad about the cheating. You know what I mean?
Right.
So just leave him. He's better off without you. So I thought
Better
that was
off
pretty
without.
based and red pilled of Dr. Drew, but also it's very true. There was no reason for her to tell her that while at the hospital after being stabbed and not being able to walk. There was no reason to be like, "Hey, we're not really sisters," and I made Dad leave. You know what I
Well,
mean?
they're half sisters. They're half sisters,
Yeah.
technically. Um because they have the same mom.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, well, we're
But
half sisters, and I made Dad leave. There
she
was no
did not
reason for
make
her to do
dad
that.
leave. She did not make dad leave. Well, I mean, yeah, I see what you
No,
mean.
but there was no reason for
Um,
her to say that to her.
true. Yeah, that's true. I mean, we wanted to give a reason for like her leaving, but yeah, she didn't really need to, honestly. She was probably so distraught about it. She didn't really do a lot of growing up, I don't think. Maybe not. Maybe maybe like stop like making trouble or whatever, but maybe not in the whole maturity and like self-sacrifice that adults tend to do.
Yeah,
Um, or some adults, some good ones. Um, so what is it called? So like Sam is like leaving the room or whatever, and then like, um, her boyfriend does a jump scare to her, and she like freaks out or whatever. And I write down, at this point, I wrote down a note that yeah, they were complaining about the jump scares earlier on in the movie, and this movie has a bunch of jump scares in it. So,
yeah, and
so
and also I put Sussy Baka, but I don't remember. Does she call him an idiot? She's
I
like, "You
think she
big
might have.
idiot," and I was like, "Sussy Baka."
Maybe. I don't know. For like a movie that mentions a particular thing later on, I don't know if I should mention it now. That it doesn't have that many anime references. Very little.
Yeah,
Nil to none. And that's why I gave it that's why I took off some points from it. Which I
yeah,
do for every movie. Um so yeah. Oh, I also wrote down another note that said after watching the Matrix movie, I don't think I can take people explaining plot points in movies anymore and making it super meta. It's so played out that I can't fucking deal with it anymore. Um, because I think at this point they were talking about like the boyfriend has watched all the movies. Um, and so like he's pointing out what the other person that used to point out plot points in scary movies was, and that's saying that they should try to go to the original to go find out what's happening. Um, and so like, I mean, every like we mentioned before, we've seen it before in the Matrix. And so they decide to go find an original character from the movies, and they go search out Dewey.
yeah.
Um,
They go find Dewey, and in my notes I put an appearance from WCW heavyweight champion David Arquette.
The last reigning one, right? Or did he lose? Did he
No, no,
lose
he
the
wasn't
belt?
the last champion. I believe Booker T was, but no, no, yeah, Booker T was the last WCW champion.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. Cool. Can you dig it, Sucka? So they go to the home of El Aso Wipo,
Mm-hmm.
and he lives in a mobile home. Um, and in the mobile home they show him like watching like a newscast of Miss Gale.
Oh yeah, Miss
Um,
Gale. Miss Gale.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
Don't make
only
the
touched the
reference. I
best.
have the. I want to make that reference later on, please.
Okay, fine. Okay. Then don't say the name. Then don't do the voice, please. Dewey explains so Dewey like doesn't want to talk to them or whatever. He's like, I don't take I don't take I'm fighting off the urge to make scary
Just
movie jokes
no. Go ahead. Go
right
ahead. We
okay.
might not have the
No,
same joke. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I'm not doing it. Okay, so
Wait.
Dewey
No,
says
we can do. There's one particular joke that I want to do. You can do whatever scary movie joke you want. Because this movie was
so
basically scary movie.
really was.
This movie
Well,
was
no, that's what I was
yeah.
that's what I said at the beginning of the review or whatever that we're doing at the beginning, that it's like it's become a parody of itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's become the parody that I think they were trying to fight off a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
cuz like there was some clever I remember there being clever things in the movie in the first movie, like when she says like, "Oh, why the fuck would she always run up the stairs?" and then she runs up the stairs later. But they don't just like completely point it out and like make it super obvious. Um so yeah. So this movie is like full parody levels at certain points. It gets really bad in the next couple of sections, but you'll see. Um so uh so Dewey says like no, I don't do interviews or anything like that. He's over it. He's over the whole like stab thing and all the fanfare or whatever. And so they bring up something to gain his attention. They probably say like, "Oh, there's a murder happening again." Um and so Dewey relents, lets him in the house, and he starts explaining the rules of the stab movies and horror movies in general.
Yeah, I know. More explanations, dude. This movie is full of explanations.
Yeah, and he says like things like don't trust your partner, don't trust whoever was the murderer in the last movie. It could be the rules are broken in this one. Anything could happen. And which is funny because the same exact shit happens that you would think would happen. Um and um and then Dewey says like look in your close group of friends. There's probably someone in there that's the murderer or could be the murderer. Um uh and uh and then he said that the murderer the motive for the murders always goes back to the past to play the shitty games that suck ass.
Yeah.
And uh so they're all like okay, can you help us like do all this shit? And he's like fuck no, and he kicks him out of the house. He's like smell my finger, and he's like what is that? And he's like it's my ass. And so he kicks him out of the house. That's the scary movie reference. Shout outs to the Wayans brothers. Number 3 was better than yours. So he kicks him out of the house, and Gail is on the news report, and she's like Gail is like on the TV or whatever, and like Dewey's like looking at his old pictures of Gail. He passes by the TV, and Gail is on the news report is like saying a opinion piece about the pros and cons of reuniting with old friends. Which is kind of funny. So Doofy some triumphant it's not I'm sorry, Dewey
No, Doofy's better.
Dewey No, I'm going to call him Dewey. I'm not going to make those references the entire time. Okay. So Dewey calls up I think
Sydney.
he calls up Sydney, and then triumphant. No, it's not Sid. Did you say you said Sydney? You didn't say Cindy.
Yeah, I know.
So
Sydney is the girl. Is the girl from Scary Movie?
no, Sydney. Sydney is the movie one from
Scary
Scream.
Movie.
No, Cindy is the one from Scary Movie.
Oh, I was calling her
Sydney,
Cindy the whole time I was watching the movie.
no, Sydney is the real one.
Okay.
Sydney is the real one. Cindy is the other
Oh,
chick
I was
that got
calling her
married to.
Cindy the whole movie. I put Cindy in my
No,
notes.
Star Lord's ex-wife is Cindy. Okay, so
Yeah, his bitch
uh
ex-wife.
yeah, so they play this like really triumphant music when they reveal that she's like a mom pushing exercising and pushing her kids around her babies on a stroller around when they show her face, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is cringe. I do not care." Um
Yeah, they really
uh
wanted to like venerate the grandma in here for some reason.
I don't get it.
Which at this point she's a
Like
grandma, even though she's pushing a kid in a stroller. Like you look at her and you're like, "Ooh boy, like you're gonna break a hip, lady."
this is supposed to be the big clapping moment when everybody claps, like when they show like Toby Maguire, and I freaked out like a little girl.
Yeah,
And so um but it's not. I don't why would it be? And then I mean, because at this point the movie's calling you stupid for like caring about this stuff. They didn't mention anything about nostalgia. They didn't go that far. I don't well, no, actually they do later. Never mind. This movie's gonna call you stupid like in the halfway mark because you've already paid for everything, as we learned in the Eternals movie. Um so what I wrote down, like, she's surprised that Dewey is calling her, as if he hasn't called her like every 5 years since they first met in the first movie.
yeah.
Cause she like picks up, she's like, Dewey? That's all like, oh my god, I can't believe it's you. It's like, what do you mean? He always calls you. Guess what it's about? So
Yeah.
um so uh um well, Dewey tells her not to show up, that all the stuff is happening. Um and she's like, all right, yeah, I wasn't gonna do that anyway. So like, okay, well, great. And that's the end of the movie, folks. Good night. No,
Yeah.
unfortunately, there's still more. And
There's a
so,
lot more, and we're an hour and 30 minutes in.
yeah, Dewey text Gail also, and he texts her like a couple times or something like that. I don't know if she responds at this point, but so then he texts her a couple times. He feels like kind of embarrassed about it because he's like turned into a big dumb loser, and so he's like, well, I gotta make a decision here. And then he like takes a picture of Gail off of a little box, and puts it to the side, opens up the little box, and it has his sheriff badge, his iconic sheriff badge and revolver from the other movies. The iconic, well-known, often um often parodied badge. And I'm being sarcastic during this time because who gives a fuck about the badge and the revolver or whatever. We know he used to be a cop. I don't understand. Um what is it called? And so after that it cuts to the I think it's Sam and her boyfriend and the crew of friends visiting the Chad and Mindy, the two half black characters, their house. And it's important to point out that they're half black, because the mom of Mindy and Chad is one of the high school kids from the original Scream movies, or I think it's Scream 2. So but the father's not around. So you can assume that what is it called?
You can make your own assumptions. All right, so
You can make your own assumptions about that. He went to the he was
he must have been murdered in
he,
one of those Scream movies.
he's off camera somewhere. Um so so but point is, it becomes important to note who the parents are in this movie. Um so so they cut to them uh Sam and the boyfriend with the group of friends at the house, and Sam tells everyone that she's the daughter of Billy Loomis. Um,
Unprovoked.
and unprovoked, yeah. Well, I mean, at this point, she's gotta let everybody know, right? I don't know why she's telling like a group of high school kids. Also, there's another thing that happens next. Um, she tells everybody that she's the daughter of Billy Loomis, and that one of them might be the killer. She's a genius, because why the fuck would you tell the killer that you're on to them? that you're like you know one of them putting like the air of suspicion so they know that you're like trying to search for them and stuff like that between the group of friends. Um maybe to like get the group of friends to also work with you, but then you might be working with the killer. So why the fuck would you even say anything? Why wouldn't you just keep it to yourself? Um so uh so now everybody starts trying to figure out who the killer is and starts making their own assumptions. Um And so they're all like, well, they start saying it's like, Dewey said that you have to go back to the past,
To play the shitty games
to
to suck ass.
no, we're not making that joke like a bunch of times in this. You got to go back to the past to figure out what the motive is, and then they're all like, maybe it has something to do with the original, with the original people that were in the original killings and stuff like that. And then they point out that is like, well, Vince was like the dude that got killed. I think this is the part where they said there was like two victims or three victims when there's technically two. Um, so they were like, oh yeah, Vince got killed, but he wasn't related to anybody. It's all like actually Vince was um the nephew of Stu. I think it's Mancher, um, who was the accomplice of Billy Loomis in the first movie.
Oh
So
wow, okay.
Shaggy from the first movie is the uncle of Vince.
Oh, that I didn't
Um,
know. Interesting.
yeah. So that would explain that the three attacks that happened, three attacks, not the three murders,
Oh,
are
also I forgot to say this during the scene where Doofy comes out to help them,
right.
and I think the boyfriend says, I think the boyfriend says, um, like I know he used to be a sheriff, but I don't think he should have a gun. And
Did he say
I
that?
wanted to punch him through the fucking screen. But it's actually kind of funny and ironic, and I wonder if they did this on purpose later on. The later on you find something out and you're like, huh, that is kind of funny that he didn't want him to have a gun. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's true. Well, um, so I mean that's always the case, isn't it?
Yeah, isn't it?
Always the case, even in real life. Um, so um, so they decide that what is it called? So they find out that the three attacks, which were Tara, Sam, and Vince, um they're all related to the original characters from the first Scream movie. And so
They gather up
after
everybody and Doofy gives them a big speech.
well, no, Doofy doesn't give him a big speech just yet. I don't think Doofy has joined them just yet. Um,
He hasn't? I
uh,
thought he came out of the
yeah.
car.
I don't think you might
You're
be
talking
right.
about the
Yeah, I think
gathering
you.
at the house?
Yeah, I'm talking about the gathering at the
Yeah,
house.
yeah. He comes out first and he's sitting in there, and then the girl's all like, "Oh, 4chan."
That's what it was. Yeah, that's the next part. Okay, so
Yeah.
Dewey is there. I'm sorry. So Dewey is there and has relented and decided to join them, and so and so the girl they all start talking about like movies. They mentioned 4chan and Reddit, which they called it Dreadit. I don't know why they called 4chan the hacker by name, but they called Reddit Dreadit instead of you know instead of
Yeah, I
just
like how
saying
they were
Reddit.
more worried about Reddit suing them than 4chan,
But
which
yeah,
they should
4chan.
be, honestly.
Yeah.
But I thought it was funny because she just makes this big grand speech about how everyone who criticizes the new Scream movie, the new Stab movie, is an idiot, and people hate who hate the original stuff are a bunch of white supremacist small dicks.
I think well they said something about like complaints about ruining childhoods and the main character is a Mary Sue and then like Dewey's like what's a Mary Sue and then like Wes is all like you don't want to know
Hmm.
as if it's not like a valid complaint like it's just some like what is it called some tired thing that people bring up all the time which it isn't it exists so it's
Yeah,
just them like brushing off actual valid criticism.
yeah. This is their big fight scene, and this is their big fight scene where the French guy in the Matrix yells all his stupid opinions.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's what this scene
Except
is. The stupid Mindy, stupid bitch Mindy, just starts like berating anybody that liked the first Scream movies.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know if the actress is this obnoxious in real life, but she did a good job of acting like it.
She's
Um,
obnoxious
uh,
throughout the whole movie. I think in the beginning when they introduced all the friend characters, she's just cracking. She's just like yucking it up, talking about how Tara died. You
yeah,
know?
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she
So
keeps saying
Zendaya.
everyone's. She keeps saying everyone's the killer.
Well, actually, that was a that. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, she keeps saying all that
I mean, I
stuff.
know it has payoff later on, but it was annoying.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, so I called her. What's it called? I called her Zendaya. So she also said something about like they also mentioned something about like social commentary that when people complain about social commentary um movies, and then they're all like, "What's wrong with social commentary in horror movies? I love Jordan Peele's Get Out." And it's like, God, is that the only one? Oh, did you guys like that other
No,
movie that
they
he
they
made?
bring up I think at the beginning when they talk about the Babadook, they talk about how it's like a allegory for motherhood or something like that, and it's like shut the fuck up.
Who cares?
I want to see people fucking. I want to get scared.
Well, the thing is not like
I'm not like
necessarily.
you. I'm not like you. You fucking whine on. I'm not afraid to have kids. Jesus. All right, go
Well,
ahead.
the thing that bothered me as well too is like all the movies that they were bringing up, I don't even really like.
They're stupid.
Like
They suck. Hereditary sucks. The
the
Babadook.
witch was.
The Babadook was pretty good actually. The Witch was pretty good. I like the Witch.
I thought they were all boring.
They are.
Yeah,
They're artsy
yeah, they're
fartsy movies. They're not scary movies. That's why I thought it was funny
yeah,
that they're like elevated horror. I'm like, they're not horror. They're suspense
yeah,
movies. That's what a suspense movie is.
yeah.
You
They're
know what I
pretty
mean?
shit. I don't like any of them.
Yeah.
Um, so maybe I'm just not. Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
like
know.
any
I
of
don't
them.
know when suspense got conflated with horror, but it seems like it's that now. You know what I mean? But anyways, it doesn't matter. That's a rant for another time. We got to get going because we're like at 2 hours.
No kidding. Wow. Okay. So the
This movie's got a
so
lot to
Min
talk about, man. This movie's got a lot to talk about.
yeah, a lot to sink your teeth into because I mean the meta commentary and stuff like that. It opens a lot. It opens up a can of worms of like different debates and stuff like that, and just I mean it's not really that different. It's shit that you've heard a million times. So like especially from whiny like writers and directors in Hollywood.
Yeah, that they're only mad because you didn't like what they made. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So so Mindy like explains what a requel is, um where it's like a sequel with the same characters, but they're introducing new characters and stuff like that. Basically explaining the marketing for this movie in your face like you're dumb. And which I guess if you did like it, then I don't know what to tell you. Um and so Sam like says, "Oh, so I'm caught in a fan fiction then?" And it's like,
Yeah,
yeah, I guess you could say that. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, Wes Craven is gone, so yeah, I
yeah.
guess
They
you are.
they poke fun at themselves a couple of times in here, which is nice, but it's you're still doing the bad thing. You know what I
No,
mean?
I don't know if it's. I don't take it as generously as that. I think it's them just trying to like thumb their nose at the audience some more. Um, because I mean that's like a sequel would be a bad fan fiction. Or whatever. I mean you can call fan fiction whatever you want. I'm sure there's a definition to it, but you know bad is in front of it also. They forgot to put bad fan fiction in front of there.
Yeah, exactly. Who else? Okay, so moving on, we get to my favorite part of the movie.
mm,
I love this part. It's unintentionally or intentionally hilarious where the sheriff they're at the sheriff's house. Yes.
yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah, they're at the sheriff's house, and I don't remember anything of it. I was kind of trying to pass it over to you because I just want to get to the
Oh
funny
yeah.
jokes I wrote down.
Oh right.
Yeah,
Yeah, so they're in the sheriff's house who Sheriff Hicks is Wes's mom, the blonde-haired highlight guy who told everybody to be prepared with like the
yeah,
tasers
and
and
who
whatnot.
was also a bitch to Sam for no reason.
Well, no, she wasn't. She knew her from when she was a troublemaker.
Oh, okay, right.
So that's why she was giving her shit.
Ah,
And so like pay attention to like what happens next in this movie because I think it's trying to say something that something sinister there. So what Hicks like goes out to go get sushi for Wes and
oh,
herself
his name is Wes,
and
by
Wes.
the way.
Yeah, no, I know. I brought it up earlier
Oh
in
shit,
the
my bad. Sorry, I'm like
yeah
half paying attention, half trying to do other shit. But go ahead.
yeah. So Sheriff Hicks what is it called? Sheriff Hicks goes out to get sushi. Wes goes to take a shower. Um, and when when Wes turns on the shower, it makes like a screeching noise that sounds exactly like the stabbing sound from Psycho. Like it was almost the exact sound, you know, the it's
Yeah.
just one of them. And I was like, that's the sound from Psycho. And then and I was like, that is gay. And so they um so he turns on the shower, he gets into the shower, and he looks a lot like the chick that gets stabbed in Psycho. Ghostface calls a Sheriff Hicks while she's driving to go get sushi.
Oh yeah, I
And
put in my
Ghostface,
notes. This is a good time to have a shower gun.
yeah, is that like a shower orange, but like a gun?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. They only have one weapon inside the shower, and it's my butt. So then, what's it called? It
And
shoots out
kudos
poison
kudos for
cat.
the sheriff. Kudos to the sheriff for not having a gun in the house or anywhere.
Yeah,
Sheriff.
exactly. It really worked out for her.
Yeah.
So Ghostface threatens to kill the sheriff. To share. Ghostface threatens to kill Wesley over the phone, and Ghostface brings up like Psycho, and I was like, oh god, all right, not subtle, guys, like everything else in this movie, and what is it called? And so he's like threatening to kill so Sheriff Hicks like busts a U-turn, starts speeding back, and I was like thinking to myself while she was speeding back, I was like, this is a distraction for him to kill somebody else. And so what is it called? Sheriff Hicks gets to the house, and then in broad daylight, in front of an entire neighborhood, Ghostface comes out of the bushes, stabs Sheriff Hicks, and kills her.
To death on the
Stands on top of her
sidewalk.
body
Not
on
not
the
hidden or
sidewalk.
anything. On the front on her front yard.
I don't know if that was a joke. I don't know if that was a joke or shitty writing, but in front of everybody. Nobody's out there on the set or the
Everybody
lot or
gay.
anything. Yeah, so I just um and then there's a bunch of like and then so Ghostface moves on to Wesley inside the house. It's funny too because while Sheriff Hicks is talking to a bunch of jump scares happen inside the house, like a million jump scares. It's like jump scare. Wesley opens a
Oh my
cupboard, a jump
gosh.
scare.
Jump scare, yeah.
Jump scare music. He opens the refrigerator, jump scare music. He takes a dump, jump scare music, and
The toilet
I was like,
the dump hits the water, it splashes. So jump scare music.
I don't know if
Like
like by
every
the
little
time
thing.
what was it? The last jump scare was him opening the door and then like he was
And
there
then
or
walking
something
the
like that.
dinosaur.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. What was the last jump scare? Do you remember?
It
Where
was
he
him
like,
opening the front door.
oh yeah, and then Ghostface was there,
Yeah, and the
and
Ghostface
so
stabs him in the throat, brutally stabs him in the throat, and then everyone in the theater laughed.
well, I knew that he was gonna die,
People were laughing when they
cause
did the fake jump scares. Every time they did a fake jump scare, the whole audience, which it was a packed theater, everybody was just like ha 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 ha, like like what is that thing called? Uh, something subtle
mildly
chuckle or something.
mildly amusing.
Yeah, they were just like mildly amused. They're like ha 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 ha. Every time it happened, and then when he got stabbed in the throat, they were just like ha 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 ha. You know what I mean? Because they had no
Mm.
impact. They didn't care.
I mean, it
And
must have been a joke that.
he was getting stabbed bad too. They showed him like just shoving the knife in his throat, and it was coming out the side.
Well, the thing was is that so I think they gave him a particularly brutal death because while Sheriff Hicks was talking to Ghostface on the phone, she was like, "Oh, he was a good kid. He never hurt anybody," which he was a nice. They portrayed him as a nice character at the beginning of the thing because he was very what is it called? He was very courteous to Tara and everybody else in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is that like I've already seen this trope before where this guy gets where the nice guy gets like brutally murdered. We saw it in Hostel.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so like I don't know if that was a reference to Hostel or something like that, but I saw it coming and I was like, I don't. You telling me that you're like trying to like create something new or something like that, but you're like constantly doing the same thing. I don't
Oh
know
yeah,
if
no.
that's another commentary.
Everything in this movie's been is overdone.
Yeah, and it's like I just so moving on, what is it called? So what Wesley or whatever his name is, I don't know what's short for Wes. He gets killed. The
Wesley.
so he's so Ghostface at the front of the door makes sense. I don't know if they're trying to make it completely obvious that nobody's watching and that somehow they get killed regardless of the fact that it's in daylight because he was at the front of the door when he killed what's her face when he killed Sheriff Hicks, and then like all the jump scares happen, and then he just opens the door, and then he's still standing there. At this point, I don't give a shit. So like, um, so then moving on, um, what is it called? Um, Gail, the crime scene happens. Sam shows up at the crime scene. Is sad that Wes is dead, and then immediately stops giving a shit, like everybody else. Um, Gail shows up in a news van, and Dewey's also there checking out what's happening. And then Gail sees Dewey. They talk about some romance shit. I don't give a fuck about any of
Dude,
that.
they hash out their divorce in this movie. David Arquette and Courtney Cox.
Yeah.
They just let it all out. They're like, "You never loved me. You weren't trying to make it work." And I was like, are they actually talking about their real life divorce or what's going on here?
Yeah, I maybe. I mean that could have been it. I don't care about their divorce. I what is it called? I don't care about anything that has to do with the romance. I just like I was like, can let's go. Come on. Let's go. Um so
Grandma and Grandpa stop fighting. No one gives a shit.
yeah, let's move on, please. So like I don't have any attachment to you guys like banging once or twice. Like you guys didn't do anything. It's like something in the background of the movies. And so what is it called? So I think it cuts to Sam's boyfriend where he's watching YouTube videos about the Stab series where the people are reviewing. And I think this is a jab at us. So
Basically, yeah.
specifically
The
us and
lady
schizophrenic cast.
that's in there is a YouTuber. My girlfriend informed me that it's the lady from Supernatural who has a YouTube channel where she reviews movies.
Oh really? So they even got a shill person to do it too, to make fun of
Yeah,
themselves?
yeah,
Um a person that's in between new media and old media. Show for old media because they pay better.
right.
Um, so yeah, that's the thing too is that I wrote down that this is like boomers own um what is it called? Trying to own the new media generation. It's so played out. So many people have fucking done this shit. With no results in the way that they wanted it to. It comes off as you bitching to the audience about themselves for a shitty meta movie where there's little self awareness when it's supposed to be completely aware of itself.
Mm-hmm.
So like yeah, it's just the same shit you've seen a million times. How many times have you seen old media shitting on new media or like people shitting on YouTubers and shit and stuff like that? Again, it's the movie saying to your face that you're stupid and your opinion doesn't matter. Um, so so Wesley has become obsessed
Wesley.
with
Wesley's
the
dead.
I'm sorry, not Wesley. I'm sorry. Gene has become completely obsessed with the stab movies. Um, and I wrote down at this point has completely checked out of reality. Um, I and Tara is in the hospital. At this point, And so, because I think Gene brings up some movie tropes to Sam, and I was like, and that's when I was like saying, this isn't a movie. Um, this is supposed to be real life. I don't understand what's going on here. And so, Sarah is in the hospital, chilling, relaxing, when all
Maxing
the
all
lights go
cool.
out. Yeah, and then she's
Oh
attacked
wait!
by
Before we get there, sorry, we're moving quick, but I gotta get my jokes in here. Um, there's they do more sequel jokes, and it. Oh well, I guess I didn't think I have anything funny to say. Never mind. Carry on.
So, really nothing about Wesley or anything like that, about
Nah,
his
Wesley's
death
a
or.
dumb character. I really don't like Wesley. I mean Wesley, not Wesley. I liked Wesley. I hate Gene. Gene's the worst. They're all bad. They're all terrible.
Yeah, I disliked Wesley's actually you just reminded me of something. At Wesley's house or whatever, he's always the one that's overly prepared and stuff like that. He had the tasers and stuff like that. None of that helped him while he was what is it called? While he was being attacked. So none of the scenarios where like the sheriff cop mom helped him in any of the situation. So like being prepared is like laughed at in the face of the reality in quotations.
Yeah.
No gun like you said. Um so it's like, oh well, don't defend yourself. It's what is it called? It's dumb. Don't be prepared or anything like that. It's not going to help you during this point. I don't know if that's what they were trying to say. That's what I got from it.
Well,
So
they have this ridiculous scene in the hospital while she's getting chased. Yeah, so the hospital lights go out and then Tara gets a bug up her butt to go check everything out.
yeah, she like goes in a wheelchair and stuff like that, and
Hmm.
then she like Ghostface like tries to attack her. Everybody is dead. The security guard is dead in the hospital. No one else is working in the hospital. Everybody else is dead. Um and what is it called? And so Ghostface catches up with Tara. He calls Sam on the phone while they're like running towards Tara. I forget what it
Oh, they
was
run into
that
Wesley by
alerted
the
them
way.
to it. Sorry?
They run into Wesley by the way, who was there for some reason.
Wesley at the
Yeah,
you
because she
mean
runs
Gene?
through the door. Gene, my bad, Gene. Yeah, I don't know why he looks like a Wesley. It's so weird. But
Yeah.
Gene, they run into Gene because there was a guy going through the door, and it was so dark. The movie was so dark at this point that I couldn't see who it was, and I was like, "Who the hell is that asshole?"
Yeah.
And it turns out it was Gene.
Oh yeah, yeah, they do.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's like
and they beat him up. He gets beat up and he falls on the ground, and then the killer goes after what's her name again? Tara.
Oh, I see. Okay then. Oh, I guess he must have been hanging around the hospital when she was there. Um so yeah, so like basically everybody's dead, nobody's working at the hospital. Yeah, Ghostface calls up Sam. Probably that's what alerted them to him being at the hospital. Dewey and Sam are like speeding towards the hospital, and Ghostface is talking about Tara and saying like, I'm gonna give you an ultimatum. Either I kill Gene, or you kill Tara, or I kill Tara. You gotta pick one. And then she's like, "Why would you do this?" And like, he's like, "Because I feel like it," or something like that. And I want to get to you because you're the original, sort of original, or you're connected
You're the
to it.
connection to the original.
Then yeah, and then so like, and so Sam is like, Sam is like asking him a bunch of questions. He's all like, you think all this is gonna like help your sister?" And she's like, "No, I'm just buying time." And then like they come and then like a elevator in front of Ghostface opens up, and I think it's Dewey shoots him
Yeah,
in the
Dewey.
body
No,
a bunch of times.
Dewey the only one with the gun shoots the shit out of him, and he
Yeah,
goes
and then
flying
like
across the room.
yeah, and they save Tara and they save Jean, and then they all get in the elevator, and then Dewey's all like, "I have to stay behind," and they're like, "Why?" And he's like, "I don't know." And then
No,
he's
no,
like,
he
"I
has a
got
reason. He has a reason. He says that he has to
yeah." He's
kill
gonna
the guy.
yeah, but why the fuck wouldn't he do it while they're still there?
Because he's an
Um,
idiot. No,
yeah. So then he
it wasn't even that stupid that he told them he had to go back. The part that was really stupid was this. He goes up to the guy He's like, I have to finish him off because it's the only way because they always come back. He goes up to him, walks right up to him within stabbing distance, and guess
Right.
what? He gets fucking stabbed
Well, he
before
gets
shooting
stabbed
the
because
guy.
he gets distracted because of his phone rings,
Yeah.
and he
Oh,
looks
I
at
didn't
his
see that
phone.
part. Yeah.
And he looks at his phone. Who the fuck is gonna be calling him? And he gets stabbed by Ghostface, and then in the stomach, and then he like grabs Ghostface costume and pulls it off, and he's got a bulletproof vest. I mean, he didn't learn anything from number three. Um, and so like Ghostface like stabs him in the stomach. I think he stabs him in the neck, and then he stabs him in the spine, and then like moves the blade upwards,
Hmm.
making sure that you know that Dewey's dead. And so Dewey dies. Some very sad music is playing while we look at Dewey's face. I don't care.
Yeah. In
Um,
this movie, Dewey's not the killer.
Dewey is not the killer. Yeah, I don't think he was the killer in any of the movies.
Yeah, he was. He was in the penultimate one, in the best Scream movie ever made.
So Doofy dies, and what's it called? If they're, I wrote down if they're, I don't know if they're trying to make me not give a shit, but if so, they're succeeding. Ghostface was wearing a bulletproof vest, yeah, and I don't care who the killer is now. Also, what's it called? Also, I think the killer is Amber.
Who's Amber?
Amber is the dark-haired chick
Oh,
that
Pokimane.
said I
You
thought was
figured it
Asian.
out that fast?
Figured it out for that
I did
fast
not figure it
because
out. I did not
he
figure it
kept.
out till after the party scene, which I maybe we should have waited to reveal who she was, but who gives a shit?
Oh, I figured it out that fast.
Yeah.
Because she was, I think, at one of these scenes, she was like saying, "Maybe you're the killer. Maybe you're the killer." You know what I mean? Like, but very accusatory, very angry.
Yeah.
So,
I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be. We won't reveal who the other person is, but because it's. I mean, this is just a rip off of the first one anyway, so I won't. We won't reveal who the second person is, but I didn't think it was gonna be her. I thought it was gonna be probably someone we've never heard of.
I mean, I mean, what was
No,
it?
I
Number
thought they were
three.
gonna be. I thought they were gonna be super meta and be like, "Who the fuck is that guy?" It's like I loved the stabbed movies. I'm a random killer. I have no connection to any of you, and that would have been kind of like you would have been like, "Oh shit," you know what I mean? Because the whole movie had been
I would
about
have been.
connecting everything to the first one, and then it's like, "Oh, the killer's not anybody from the first one." That's crazy. You know what I mean? I guess maybe I was thinking that people know how to write movies nowadays, but they
Well, I
don't.
mean, it could be a pretty weird ending. I mean, I
No, I
probably
thought it
would
would
have
have
liked
been.
that.
Yeah, it would have been interesting because you, like I said, had no connection to the first one, but he was obsessed with connecting it to the first one. That would have been kind of
I
cool.
mean, I'm pretty sure most what is it called? I don't know if they've ever done a
Hmm.
comparison of mass shooters
Oh
um
boy,
to these Scream
keeping
movies.
it light here on Schizophrenic Cast. But I think that's what
I'll
they were
bring it up
implying too,
later.
right? Yeah,
Well, I'll bring it up later.
yeah.
So like keep that in mind. Um, so the killer, I'm like the killer's Amber, because she was accusing everybody of what was going on. Uh, what is it called? If you think this was going on, I think it was probably the scene. Um, not it was she was accusing everybody at one point in the movie of being the killer, very angry, and then very angry at Sam, and then very like it couldn't have been anybody else.
I kind
And
of
like
chalked
the
it up
whole,
to her bad acting.
I don't think Mindy was accusing everybody of being the killer as much as Amber was. Um, I was like this the lady doth protest too much,
Hmm.
and it always seems to be the case in these movies. Um, So I figured it out. I mean, I immediately said like, yeah, Amber's the killer. Well, no, I was like, Amber's the killer. And then at this point, and then so we move on. Uh,
Yeah, they're getting Amber, and then Amber they're driving away with Amber, trying to get out of the city or whatever. This is when I noticed that like 75% of this movie is women actresses. I just something to put out there. I feel like they were trying to fill some kind of quota with that, but um,
Oh, no,
they
the end is the quota.
what?
Just pointing that out. I said the end is the quota. I'm just pointing that out now.
Yeah. So they they do that, and they try to get the sister out of the city, and the sister's like, "Oh, I need my pain pills," and she's like, "No, shut up." But she's like, "I really need them," so they convince Jean to take
No,
them.
no, it wasn't the pain pills.
What did
It was
they?
even
Which?
stupider. It was her. Tara has asthma. She needed her inhaler.
The good old inhaler excuse.
Yeah, but right before they completely escape,
Shout
I
outs to
think
Tooth Emo.
yeah, I think Sydney and Sydney comes back in like a car or something and comforts Gail after she finds out about the death of Dewey, right? Oh no, I'm sorry.
That
That
hasn't
happened
happened yet.
yet?
Wait, we gotta talk about them
Oh,
going to
I'm
the
sorry.
party because that
Okay,
happened
yeah.
before.
Okay.
So they go back and they're like, "I need my inhaler," and she said, "I can get the inhaler from I think Pokimane," and they go back to and they're having a house party there, and what else happens, Eddie?
No, the party hasn't happened yet. Um
No.
yeah, the party hasn't happened yet
Oh, okay.
because
Well, go ahead, man. You remember more
Sid,
than I do because I'm really out of it. I mean, with this
yeah,
movie.
Sydney came back to comfort Gail
Mm-hmm.
over the death of Dewey because they had just escaped the hospital.
Mm.
Um, so they had just escaped the hospital. Um, and I think they meet. They're like in another hospital, and they meet Sydney. And what is it called? I think in the other hospital where they have like police and stuff like that, Sam and Tara share a moment about like I guess not saying that because Sam is like I had to leave again. I had to leave because I didn't want to be like my real dad, my biological dad. Um so and then Tara says, "No, you're not like him at all. He was a good actor." And what is it called? And so like Sam what is it called? Sam and Tara decide it's like let's get the fuck out of here. No one ever does that. And so they're leaving. The Sam meets Cindy in the I mean Sydney in the lobby, and then Sydney is all like, "Yeah, don't you can't leave or whatever. It's not a good idea. It's to you know, it doesn't work or whatever." And then Sam's like, "Nah." And then she's like, "All right, well, see you later."
She's
And then
like,
Gail's all
"Shut
like,
up, bitch."
she's all like she's like I said $1, bitch, and he throws a sandwich at her. Um,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
so Sydney, so Gail comes out to Sydney and was all like, "You just gonna let him leave?" And she's like, "No, I put a tracker on their car. Um, I put a GPS. I'm fucking Batman and shit."
Yeah.
Um,
Apparently, she's Cindy fucking Prescott, dude.
yeah.
I said Cindy again,
So
but
so then what is it called? So then Gail and Sydney are like, "Let's follow them," and then they're all like, "Yeah."
you're
And
tempted to
so
call her
and
Cindy.
that's when Tara's like, "Oh, I lost my inhaler. I can't live without my inhaler. I can't go to the fucking store with my prescription and shit like that and get another one." So it's a special formula mix or something like that that only that I can only have like a small vial of for the entirety of my life. And so they're all like, "All right, well, does anybody else have it?" It's like I think
Yeah.
Amber has another one in her house, and it's like, "Oh, okay then." And so they go to I believe Amber's house. And
Yeah. They go to Pokemon's house.
they go to Pokemon's house, and where there's a house party being had, being thrown.
Yeah, and
And
everyone's there.
so,
Hassan and Destiny, and they're all there.
oh god, Chad, Mindy, and the girl with the pink hair is there too.
Yeah, Quinn
Um,
reviews for some reason. So what were you saying?
so Amber's like talking to Cindy. I mean, Mindy, and Mindy Kaling, and she says I gotta go get some beer. She goes down, and then Mindy's all like, "You'll die if you go by yourself or whatever." And she's like, "All right, then go with me." And so they go together to go get beer, and then
No,
they
they don't
accuse
go
each
together.
other.
She goes down there, and then Pokimane like closes the. They do the refrigerator closing scene again.
Oh
Um,
yeah, I thought this
and
was a
and
reference.
Mindy's right there, and she's like, "I told you if I was the killer, you would have been dead." And she's like, "Well, you came down here like." She says that you could have got killed if you did this or whatever, and she's like, "Fair enough" or whatever. And then there's like
Yeah,
some
I thought this
sexual
was gonna.
tension or whatever because Mindy's a lesbian apparently.
Oh yeah, I didn't get that at all. I thought there was like tension, but not
They make out
like
on the couch
angry
later,
tension.
don't they?
That was somebody else.
Oh, it was somebody else.
That was an actual Asian girl.
Oh, okay, yeah, sorry.
That was some random chick. Um, and no, Amber. What is it called? This is when I knew for sure that Amber was the killer. I was like, Amber's definitely the killer. At this point, because she doesn't die. She's accusing Mindy of being the killer or whatever, and then she one ups Mindy. So I was like, she's too smart and too much in the background not to be important. So, um, so yeah. Also, when she went down to the basement, I thought this was gonna be a reference to the first one where the chick gets caught in the fucking
The doggy
the
door.
door, the doggy door.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then she
I
was
don't
too
know.
fat
Wait,
to go up, and then it just falls on her.
yeah. Is that Scream or is that I Know What You Did Last Summer?
I don't remember.
I thought that's what it was, but anyway, so then it cuts to Chad making out with his girlfriend, and then his pink-haired girlfriend, which is the I forget
The
what her
hussy.
name is. Yeah, the little skankator. She what is it called? She's all like, "Let's go bang" in the thing, and she's like, "I don't want to go bang because I think you're the killer." And then she's all
Yeah,
like, "Ugh, how dare
you're
you
gonna kill
have
me with
like
AIDS.
boundaries? Yeah, how dare you have boundaries? Let me give
Yeah,
you chlamydia."
yeah.
Um,
She's like, you're not allowed to say no to my sexual advances.
yeah. So then especially when you're under the influence of alcohol. So
Yeah.
Sydney so the pink-haired girl storms off or whatever. I wrote down she's mad for no reason. Sydney and Gail are driving down to the party, and what is it called? And then so Gail says she doesn't want any she's not going to write any more
Oh shit.
books, and neither is Sydney, and
Yeah, she's like,
that all
after
they
this,
wanted.
no more. We're not gonna give any more. We're not gonna talk about any more mass shootings. So there's no copycats. That's
Yeah,
basically what they were
exactly.
saying. Yeah.
Well, to me it was like yeah, like I was saying, I don't know if anybody's I'll bring it up now. Yeah, I don't yeah, to what you said, like if the character was just somebody random, I don't think any mass shooters were ever closely related um to the origin the actual like people that inspired them to do the mass shootings.
I think they're.
Um
I think they're implying. Well, I think at this point we were working on the. We were working on the assumption that it was just a rando. You know what I mean?
right, but like
Yeah.
uh
No, that's it.
I don't think it was the assumption because they had been pointing it out that it was going to be somebody in this group of friends or in this like clique.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm saying it would have been more realistic, more, surprising, if it was just some random guy. Because like I said, in real life, the mass shooters, the copycats and stuff like that are inspired by the other ones, no actual relation. The only relation that I would say is maybe some similarities, but in how they were raised. But that's neither here nor there, I suppose. Um, so what is it called? Yeah. So then the pink haired girl storms off. Um, and they say no more books, no more inspiring more
Movies. Yeah.
killers. Um, Mindy makes out with a girl. What is it called? Mindy's a lesbian. There are hundreds of thousands of them now. They're everywhere. Everyone you know is a lesbian, and you are also a lesbian. Chad is lured out by um, lured out by Ghostface, and
Yeah, by
is
pretending to
stabbed.
be the skank.
Yeah, exactly. To pretending to be the skank, and what's it called? Because I know his name is Chad, and Chad is a what is it called? Looks the way he does because you're a bigot.
Mm-hmm.
And we're taking back Chad. So I assume that
Oh,
nobody
I didn't
cares
make
about
that
any.
connection, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah,
so
so he goes outside like a dumbass following the GPS tracker.
Yeah, and he gets
Yeah.
killed. I think it's like like a sex app
Well,
or
he
something
runs
like
a
that. And yeah,
yeah, he runs away, whatever. And it's funny because my girlfriend was saying, why doesn't he throw his phone? And then he throws the phone, and I was like, oh, okay, pretty good, you know. But
yeah.
he gets killed anyway in another abrupt killing that had no impact because he was on the phone, and then you just see Ghostface come out of the corner of the screen and just stab him in the back, and you're like, oh, okay, well, he's dead now.
He's definitely dead. Very, very dead. So then, what is it called? So then, what is
Oh
it
no, wait,
called?
his last words were, I think his last words were like, oh, look at me, I'm bleeding.
Does he say that?
No, that's from Scary Movie again.
God damn it. Oh, am I supposed to scream now? And then her head like talks. Her head
Yeah.
talks after she's been
She's like, look at
decapitated.
me, I'm a decapitated head. How passe.
um,
Oh
so
boy.
then, so then they get to the part. So Sam and Jean get to the party, and with Tara, and then Jean's all like, "Everybody leave." Um, and everybody leave. You Zoomers. He calls them Zoomers, I think.
Oh yeah, he's like
And
Gen
then everybody's
Z.
yeah.
Ugh.
Gen Z leave. Which is Gen Z? You're supposed to say Zoomer. You're not supposed to say Gen Z. That's
I
how you know a
know.
boomer wrote the shit.
Yeah, that's how you
Um,
know a boomer wrote it because he said Gen Z exactly. All Gen Z people are Zoomers.
well, the thing was is that the millennial dude talks like a Gen X guy. I'm sorry, maybe not boomer, but Gen X.
Yeah.
So
Well,
because the millennial,
Gen X are just
Mhm.
Boomer Part Two. You know what I mean?
Well,
And
the
then there
thing
was
is
and there
that
was
like
us the millennials, and then there was Zoomers who are Boomer Part Three.
I don't think the millennials like ever complain about like Zoomers as badly as like Gen X boomers complain about
No,
millennials,
I think
or as
Zoomers
Gen
complain
X
about
complain.
themselves more than anybody, honestly. Because Boomers are still complaining. Boomers and Gen Xers are still complaining about millennials, and we're all in our 40s already. You know what I mean?
True.
Zoomers, they just complain about other Zoomers. They're just like, oh man, I can't believe this generation. I'm like, you're the same gen. Okay, well, tell your friends to not do that then.
Yeah, exactly. But what's it called? So yeah, he tells them all to get out, and he sounds like he's Gen X, even though he's supposed to be a millennial. Which, by the way, the commentary in this is for millennials. It's not for, to me, it's not for Gen Z or the
Mhm.
Zoomers. It sounds more like Gen X dude complaining about millennial people, and then but in the movie the millennial traits are the Gen Z people. Just putting that out there.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Also, if the reasons we call you're gonna hear us say Zoomer a lot in like movies that have to do with Zoomers, and we call them Zoomers because they're Gen Z, but they're basically just Boomers. So you just put the Z instead of the B, and they're Zoomers because they're like the second wave. They're in an uh they're in an era where it's like there's an economic like upturn, and like life is good. They're being degenerate and they're being weird. You know what I mean? Because they don't have to fight for anything because there's no war right now, and there's anti-patriotism, and they're all going to college where they get indoctrinated. So they're just kind of like Boomer Part Two. All right, go ahead.
oh, okay.
Yeah, the bad part is
So
millennials are going to be Gen X Part Two.
so
But go ahead.
Mindy and the other random girl that she starts making out with are still making out on the couch, and Jean comes in and tells them to get out, stop, stop being lesbians. And so the chick leaves, and then Mindy's still there, and Mindy is still not take what's it called? The hair colored girl comes in, um, and oh no, I'm sorry, the hair colored girl is the one that tells them to get out, and uh, the uh,
Well,
the pink haired girl talks.
Gene tells everybody to leave, and somebody throws a cup at him. And if that was me, I would jump through the crowd and punch that guy in his head.
Yeah, so yeah, me too. So the pink haired girl talks to Mindy, and for some reason Mindy is not taking any of the murders seriously.
Yeah, like literally somebody
Um,
just died.
yeah, and then she's like still treating like another thing. It's like maybe that's why she came off as insufferable, because like people are actually dying in this movie, and she just doesn't give a shit. I think we've met girls like that in real life that look.
She mocks people for being concerned and stuff.
Yeah, I know. It's like really it's yeah, we're supposed to like her. So Liv oh, the girl with the pink hair, her name is Liv.
Oh, okay. Ah, who cares?
So Liv tells Mindy that she's eventually gonna die because the expert always dies, right?
Yeah.
How she fucking knows this, I have no clue because she's like been checked out of the movie the entire time, which I think they mentioned earlier in the movie. So cuts to Gail and Sydney driving to the house, in little spurts. Mindy's watching the scene in Stab that recreates the expert in Scream. What's the name of the
Oh, they
actor?
do the scene from the Matrix where they show a scene from the Matrix in the movie, like a scene from the
Well,
first
no,
Matrix in the movie.
wasn't the original. It was the recreation of the scene from the first movie.
Yeah. No, I think it
In
was a
this,
straight scene from the movie.
no, I don't think it was.
Okay, well, it was a
Because
recreation, but still.
I believe the original expert was what's his name? Uh he was a rapper for a little bit. He tried to be a rapper.
Bud
Um
Bundy?
no. Not Bud Bundy. Um it was
Oh, yeah, yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, yeah. I know who you're talking about. Son of the Mask. Jamie
he
Kennedy.
was Jamie Kennedy, Beverly Hills Most Wanted. But it was a recreation of that scene from the Scream movies in the Stab movie.
Yeah.
So she's watching it happen, and she's literally dressed like the character in the Stab movie. She's wearing a blue shirt with like khakis, and she's like watching him like about to get killed. Not a care in the world, about to get killed by Ghostface. Yeah, and I wrote down this. She's wearing the same clothes. This movie sucks. Is stupid and obvious. Amber freaks out. Um, I don't know if she gets stabbed at this point, but Amber freaks out because she sees that Sam is helping Mindy. Um, Sam is helping Mindy, and what is it called? And she starts accusing everybody of being the murderer now. And then I wrote down it's clearly Amber. Amber's the killer. The killer is Amber. Ghostface is Amber. So and so like because I think that Mindy got stabbed, and then they all meet up in a group, and then Amber starts accusing everybody, and then Amber, I forget what she says to Amber to set her off, but Amber shoots Liv, and Amber is officially now
Yeah, well, she
outed as a
stabs
killer.
Mindy, doesn't she? Mindy
No,
gets what she fucking deserves.
she stabs Mindy, yeah, but there's a scene where she's not in costume and she's with everybody,
Yeah, yeah,
and
she
then Liv
shoots Liv, but when does Mindy get stabbed? Before or after that? Before.
before that.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
she
before
gets what
that
she
when
fucking
she's
deserves.
yeah.
I was like happy.
She
I was
gets,
like, yay, she's dead, but then she didn't die, and I was like, eh.
I was about to reveal that at the end of the movie, but
Well, no, but
so
they show that she doesn't die in the movie.
oh,
Because she runs away, because everybody gets fucking stabbed, like, in the kidneys, and they get stabbed. I don't know what stupid ass wrote this movie that thinks that getting stabbed in the stomach doesn't affect the rest of your body, but everybody gets stabbed. Some people get stabbed twice, and they just run away. They just run around. They just run around like nothing happened. And that's what happened with Mindy. She gets straight up stabbed, and she just is running around like, who cares?
yeah, it's what is it called? I'm sure you can bleed out fairly quickly.
Yeah.
2 minutes is probably all it takes, unless this all happens in between 2 minutes. In that case, it still looks pretty
Yeah,
shit.
but they all
Um,
just run away, getting stabbed and stuff. So she just runs away, and then Amber shoots Sam, which I thought was, I laughed. I know I wasn't supposed to laugh at this movie, but I laughed at that part.
she didn't shoot Sam. She shot she
Oh,
shot
she shot
Liv.
Liv. My bad. She shoots her in the head. She's like, "I'm the killer," and she shoots her.
Pink-haired girl. Sam's boyfriend. I think they all run away from Amber, and then what is it called? Jean, Sam, and Tara are hiding somewhere, and then Sam's boyfriend said that Tara might be the killer because there's always two killers, and I don't think that the two killers. Even though I don't think there was two killers in the third movie, I think there was only one killer. So I'm just pointing that out. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Um, what is it called? I wrote down, I hope this movie doesn't end with Amber being Sam's other personality because she's schizophrenic.
That would have been kind of good, actually.
I mean, I don't know.
That would have been better than this ending.
Maybe. Yeah, I think you're right, actually.
Yeah.
Actually, you're probably right. Because they brought up the schizophrenia and stuff like that, but I don't think it comes
Cast.
up ever again. They brought up Schizophrenia Cast to play the shitty games that suck ass,
Yeah.
and she what is it called? To watch the shitty movies that suck ass, and they what is it called? And they never bring it up again. She's not schizophrenic anymore. She's like literally seeing visions of her fucking dead dad in the mirror,
Yeah.
and it never comes up ever again.
Yeah. So
Well,
I mean,
maybe once. Very good.
yeah, it doesn't really matter. We just move on. She yeah, Pokemon's the killer. Um, and then what happens? And then
Cindy and Gail show up to the
oh yeah,
house.
yeah. Mhm.
They both have guns.
Mhm.
The two people that have guns have the most
Yeah.
priority in this. So
They're the smartest out of everybody because they're the most wisest from 1,000 years of living.
exactly, they show up at
Oh,
the
by
house
the
at the
way, I
front.
didn't even bring up that Courtney Cox looks like she looks like what's her name? Who's that comedian that died? That lady was 1,000 years old.
Fran Drescher.
No, not Fran Drescher. She looks like I can't think of her name now. God damn it. Well, whatever. She has so much plastic surgery. She looks like a foot now.
Yeah, that face is peeled back.
Yeah, no, she
Um,
looks terrible. She looks like a skeleton with like she looks like they just put like Play-Doh on top of a skeleton. You know what I mean? She
if
looks
you've
so
ever
terrible.
seen if you've ever seen American Dad, the in the future episode where the mom the mom's face is like so pulled back that you can see like the inside of her eyeballs and like the inside of her cheeks. That's what it kind of looks like. Or that's what she kind of looks like.
But yeah,
So
go ahead. They show up.
Sydney and Gail show up. They both got their nines with them. They're about to fuck some shit up. And what is it called? And then Amber comes running out and says she's like, "Oh, I've been stabbed and stuff." And then Gail and Sydney look at each other and they're like, "It's a trap." And so then I wrote down, "Oh shit!" Amber pulled out her nine and shot Gail. So what's it called? So
Yeah, and then she shoots Gail, and Gail falls down, and Cindy's like, "Gail, I only touched the top of the breast. They were so supple and juicy."
I'm sorry, Miss Gail.
I'm
Um,
sorry, Miss Gail.
Shut up, you fat idiot! Fat ass! Stepped on my foot. My fucking foot. So
What? What we're trying to say here, folks, is watch Scary Movie. All right, so go ahead.
pretty good. There's some pretty funny jokes in there. So there's some pretty shit jokes in there. Sydney so Sydney goes into the house looking for the other killer. Well, she goes in looking for Amber and the other kids. And then Sydney gets called by Ghostface, and then Ghostface is like asking her a bunch of questions and stuff. He gets called by the second Ghostface because obviously Amber is like running around somewhere, and Sydney hangs up the phone in between the call and says she's bored. And sweet Jesus, do I feel exactly how she imagined I would feel. And I wrote down, did Lana Wachowski write this fucking movie? Um, so like I guess I forget where this happens, but it's revealed that Jean is the other murderer. Um, and Jean stabs Sam, and what is it called? And Amber has a gun pointed towards Sydney. I forget how this happens. I think she gets like I think she smacks Sydney in the back of the head or something like that, and then yeah, and so they have like Jean and Amber have a whole diatribe about how they wanted to create a new movie, and that's the motivation for this.
Yeah,
They thought
they're
that
ruining the movie. They had to save it. They had to bring in new life. They're the
yeah,
real
the new sequels
fans.
are doing.
Yeah, the
They're the real fans, and that fandom cannot be toxic. And how can fandom be toxic? So
yeah
the real villains
are the
of the
fans.
movie are the people that watch the movies. Yes, the
Yeah,
people
exactly.
that
They're definitely
pay
not.
for the
They're
movies
like
are
they insult the movies. They say mean words. They accuse us of being pedophiles. I would don't like even though they are pedophiles. Um,
yeah, it's the people that have standards for the things that they watch. Terrible.
yeah,
How could they?
and
Worse than
also don't point
Hortler.
their crimes out, even though they're true.
Yeah. So so you can become the hero though by not watching these movies anymore, or or anything by the dude who wrote them. So become the hero, people. be the hero that you want to see in the world. So so apparently Amber and the boyfriend have been playing this 5-year game where like Jean Jean like tracked down Sam and like dated her and banged her for like years on end.
Yeah, and they didn't say if they didn't say if Pokimane and the Soy were dating or anything.
They were, yeah, they were in love or whatever because they call each other baby and stuff like that. So I guess they didn't see each other for like 3 years to enact this plan. And also I think it's revealed that like Amber's parents were fans of the Stab movies, and that's why they bought the house. Cause when Sydney walks into the house, it's the same house that I think she grew up in the Scream movies.
Yeah, it's Billy Prescott's
Um,
house, I think, or something like that. Oh no, the house where
Billy
all the murders
Loomis,
happened.
Billy Loomis. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. And so that's why Amber's parents bought the house. I don't know if she killed her parents or something like that, and that's why they're not there. I don't know. And so what is it called? Sydney gets stabbed. Um, Tara, what is it called? Sydney gets stabbed. It looks like Sydney says something to yeah. Tara attacks the boyfriend behind by calling him, and I think like smacks him in the back of the head with something. What is it called? Miss Gale and Amber have a fist fight. Like I think Miss Gale made her way into the house,
Yeah.
and now they're fighting with their hands.
Yeah, she only punched on the top of the breast.
Yeah. Um, Jean like punches Sam, and then like knocks her down and is about to shoot her. Um, cuts to Amber telling Gale that she needs to pass the torch. Um, even though none of the even though none of the toxic fans in quotations ever
Mhm.
want the torch to be passed, so it's a stupid thing for like a toxic fan to say that in a movie
Mhm.
because what the fuck? I thought you knew what the toxic fans wanted, but they don't want to pass the torch. They don't want that. Um, so in real life, um, what is it called? I also wrote who the fuck is this movie for? Um, what is it called? Sam's what is it called? Sam stabs Gene. Sam gets the upper hand on Gene and stabs him, and he says she says the one mistake you made was messing with a serial killer's daughter. That's the last time you're ever gonna hear of Billy Loomis in this movie and her hallucinations. Um,
No, it's not the last
was
time. They have a
when did they bring it up
stupid they
again?
have a stupid Star Wars scene at the end.
Do they?
Yeah, she says you don't mess with the daughter of a serial killer. If she kills him, Cindy's like, "Good job, you did a good job. Now you have to shoot him." And then she shoots him in the head all violently, like disgustingly violent. Everyone in the theater laughs again, and and yeah, they just go to the end, and Mindy's still alive. I'm fucking pissed.
Hold on a sec. Hold on a sec. Hold on. Before that, when Miss Gale and Amber were getting into a fist fight, I forget what happens, but Miss Gale gets the better of Amber, and then like I think they stab her, they shoot her a couple times in the body, and then they kick her into like a fire,
Yeah, she
like
catches fire
onto like a
instantly. Like she
on a
just
lit
barely
stove.
touches the fire and she catches completely on fire.
Yeah, I think that was a gag or something like that. And so I think they
A
shoot her again, and
gag
she
in the
dies.
horror movie.
And so when they shoot when they shoot Jean in the head, which she's clearly dead, I was hoping when Sam was stabbing Jean over and over and over again, um that the final stab was gonna be through the eyeball. I don't know why I wanted that, but they said like don't mess with a what is it called with a serial killer's daughter, but she slits his throat. So I thought it was gonna be like a super hard stab after that, like to put like a mic drop or like a hard point like thud sound on it. But yeah, she just slices his throat and then shoots his dead corpse in the head. And so like the Gail, Sydney, and Sam are standing in the
Ambulance
in
area.
the place, not the ambulance area, in the place where they just shot Jean.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's
Out
right.
from the kitchen, out from the kitchen runs Amber, all burnt and shit like that, running at them with a knife. I don't know if that was a reference to what is it called?
Chucky.
No, one. Well, Chucky. Yeah, actually, it's probably Chucky. I was gonna say Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but because that's what it reminded me of when the girl caught fire. But yeah, it's probably Chucky, and they shoot at her in the head. The movie's ending.
Yeah,
Uh,
they have what's her name? Sam is a horrible actress. She can't emote for shit. So she's just like there, I don't know, doing something, and she asks Gail if it's gonna. Oh no, Cindy, if it's gonna get better, and she's like, no, no. She's like, yes, it does get better, and I'm like, and at this point, I'm like thinking, I'm like, not for her. She's a psycho.
oh
She needs to
yeah.
take meds because she sees visions. It's not gonna get better for her. And then as I think that, she sees Billy Loomis on the corner, and he gives her like the thumbs up.
Oh, okay then. So okay, I missed that part.
And I'm
Okay,
like,
so I
get
guess it
her
did come up.
pills. She's seeing him again.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, everybody's been stabbed 3 times. Everybody's just whatever. They put a little bit of bandage on the tummy, and they're like, "Oh, I'm okay."
Yeah, I know. Their organs are like would be
Sam
completely
gets stabbed
destroyed.
the worst. She stabs her, and then she twists the knife. She twists the knives and does a seppuku on her,
Oh
and she
yeah.
just
So
gets
her
up and like
organs.
whatever.
Yeah, she would be like debilitated. I think she's dying of sepsis right now through this whole scene.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so then yeah, that happens. Mindy and Chad both survived.
Chad?
Chad survived too.
Chad survived? How?
Hold on a sec. This I'll tell you how. Mindy's like passing by Chad in the ambulance as she's being wheeled away in the ambulance, and they both give each other a thumbs up because the black characters always die in the movies, and this time they didn't. And that's why it's important to know that they're half black.
God damn it. Hollywood has done it again.
so
They've ended
so that's
racism.
why. Yeah, they gave the thumbs up, and I was like, I know exactly what you guys are trying to say to us right now at this moment.
But
So
yeah, and
that's why I was bringing it up the
then
whole time. I fooled all of you guys, all of you listening to this. I fooled all of you because I was bringing it because I was trying to hide what was actually going on there. Um, so yeah, in your face, you guys are racist. Um, so uh,
yeah,
so
nothing
yeah.
really. Let me go through my notes real quick. Everyone got stabbed, no biggie. Billy fucked an Indian lady for some reason. Um, yeah, the antipsychotics, and then they have a news reporter in the beginning. They have a news reporter going, and everyone died, and I was like, how the fuck are you gonna stop killing copycat killers? That doesn't fucking make sense.
Everybody lived happily ever after. Um, I don't know if it's important, but the last news reporter is also black. I don't know why. I just what is it called?
I
That
think
last
there's like a bunch of. I mean, how many years ago was Columbine? Nobody really talks about it anymore, and still people are still fucking like doing shootings in the name of Columbine. You know what I mean?
true, true. Yeah, so I guess I mean it just shows that the movies are never gonna end, and you know, I mean as long as people are watching them and they keep making money, I don't see why they would stop making them. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
I think that's
I
it. Let's any more spoilers before we move on to the like final critique because we're going on 3 hours.
good God. No, I'd say that's pretty much it. What's it called? I really didn't know that Billy. I guess I completely forgot that Billy Loomis shows up again. So you know, for that not paying off. Sorry about that. Because I did set up a lot of like things that were gonna happen during the review and stuff like that. But I'd say that pretty much the ending is kind of abrupt. And
Yeah, it
that's
just
what
ends there like it's over. Finally.
yeah, and the credits roll, and that's the end of the movie. So yeah, I guess we can move on to the critique
Yeah.
version now.
Okay. Hey everybody.
All right.
Welcome. Like if you're if you watch the movie, watch the rest of the review again. But if you're being a wiener and don't want spoilers, here you are. You kind of got an idea of what we were thinking in the first part of it because we were really down on the movie, and it hasn't changed. The movie sucked.
The movie was really bad.
Yeah, it's we explained at the beginning why it's doing so well, and there's nothing wrong with it. We're not gonna be up our own ass like Red Letter Media or whatever. People like popcorn flicks. They like going to movies where they can just stuff popcorn in their face and chill, watch a movie, and be like, oh hey, there's some killings, there's some stuff. You know what I mean? That's fine.
Do,
There's nothing wrong with that.
but
But this movie tried a little too hard.
do they like being subtly insulted though?
That's what I'm
I don't know
saying.
if I like that.
They tried
Yeah,
way too hard to be super meta. And I was seeing the movie getting praised for being that meta, and I'm like, well, there's a difference between being meta and being insulting, and this movie's trying to be insulting.
if anybody hates what is it called, audiences more than directors and writers, it's probably critics nowadays.
Yeah,
Um,
because people are
so
doing their jobs for them nowadays. With the now that we have the internet and everything, they're obsolete. Movie critics are obsolete. You know what I mean? You
well,
can
the
listen to
critics.
be like, oh hey man, 3,000 people think this movie's good, and you can be like, that's a good amount of people. I'm gonna go see that. You know what I mean? Instead of hearing one guy, thumb his own asshole and say that Taxi Driver was a bad movie. You know what I mean?
Shout outs to Robert Ebert.
Yeah,
Rest in peace.
yeah,
Um, so I just I guess you have to sell your soul to your I guess your sort of enemy to survive in the world, I suppose. Like what you said, if they're made obsolete, they gotta get money from somewhere, right? If they're not getting it from an audience, you gotta
yeah,
get it from the company that's trying to promote the movie by
yeah,
giving it a glowing review.
yeah. Exactly,
Um,
exactly. The,
writing gigs.
this is kind of a scary situation. I think it'll fix itself once everybody, like, once we get out of the pandemic and everything. Once whatever stops the pandemic, whatever happens happens. Once that's done, I think everything will start fixing itself, and people will start going to see start being a little bit more uh you know when you haven't eaten in a month and you have a sandwich, that's gonna be the most delicious sandwich you ever tasted. So I think once you start eating a couple sandwiches, you're gonna be like, sandwiches ain't so great. I don't like them. How about some pizza? You know what I mean? And that's what I'm waiting for. But for right now, everyone's eating sandwich. You know?
As a guy who as a guy who's lost and gained a bunch of weight multiple times in his life, I know exactly what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
exactly. So yeah, that's all it is. This movie's getting a lot of praise because people are really thirsty for good movies right now, and this one didn't really shove a lot in your face. Um, this movie was supposed to piss you and me off, or any fans of the show.
Mm.
Any fans of the show, it was supposed to piss you guys off. That's what they made it for. Wait for it to be on a streaming site. Wait for it to be on Amazon Prime. Don't go to theaters and give them more money. That's what they want. They want everybody to go out to theaters and watch it to get their ratings up, to be like, oh look, we made the number one movie in America. Yeah, you made the number one movie in America because, like, you know, a bunch of people went to go see it because there was no other way to see it. You know what I mean?
Uh, yeah, the analytics can be manipulated, so all
Yeah.
that stuff can be manipulated.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Okay. Well, I guess that's a good
Wait, do you want to give it a rating before we cut out?
Oh yeah, exactly. Well, we still got might as well do it might as well do an even 3 hours. um, uh, yeah, put this on while you're taking a shower or taking a dump. Everybody, listen throughout the day while
We'll
you're at
listen to
work.
it in
We really
two
encourage you to
parts.
listen to this at work and while you're jogging, while you're exercising and stuff.
Yeah, we're pretty good background noise.
Yeah.
I would give this movie a 3 out of 10. Um, Same as Encanto. One, because it's boring. Two, because it's kind of insulting. Three, because I wasn't engaged at all. I wanted it to end halfway through the movie.
hmm
So
Yeah, I don't do number ratings, so I'll say if you're trying to get laid, go take the girl to go see it. It's a nice date movie because it's like a scary movie, so she'll be like, like sitting up, whatever. It's a good date movie. It's a good date movie. Take your date to go see it. Don't Obviously parents don't take your kids to see it because there's some really gruesome violence in it. Um, older people, 30-year-old boomers don't see it, of course. You know what I mean? It's insulting us. You know what I mean? And then regular boomers, um, save your money. Probably watch it on Netflix when you don't have anything to do.
I would say if you just watch the movies that they're talking about in the movie. Don't
Yeah,
watch this one.
exactly, exactly.
So
Yeah, older people definitely not gonna like this movie. You don't. They don't like. They've never traditionally liked slasher films anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Um, I think the most people that are gonna see this are like Zoomers going on dates and like Gen Xers that remember the movie.
right.
That's the two people that are gonna go see it, and that's fine. They can go see it. Everybody else don't watch it.
All right. So
Yeah.
should we end it there?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a good place to end it. This movie sucked a dick. So
It only touched the top of the breast, Miss Gale.
yeah.
It's so tender and juicy.
Um,
But wait, there's more.
what other freaking things in there? But you're gay. I'm not gay. But you sucked each other's. No. What else? Shit.
I may be white, but my neck is red. I put Miracle Whip on my Wonder Bread. That's from number 3.
Damn it! No, you can't quote number 3.
Superior movie. No, it's a superior movie. I like
Everybody
number 3
watch
better
scary
than the other
movie.
one.
Watch scary movie. Watch the scary movie series. They did more damage to that franchise than we could ever do. They so great movies. They're so funny. Okay. All right. Good night, everybody.
Watch White Chicks afterwards too. All right. Okay.